When are you going to get off that milk diet, lad?
This is vodka.
Where I come from, that's soda pop. Now, this is a drink for a man.
Scotch.
Aye.
It was invented by a little old lady from Leningrad.
More? All I have is a bottle of very, very, very old Scotch. Whiskey!
Well, I will try it.
I'll get it. I was saving you for...
What?
Never mind. Give yourself a glass.
That's it. So what's up, guys? Welcome to, well, just didn't even think I was going to do a stream today. So just like, hey, Pips is like, hey, we're still doing that stream, right? I was like, yeah. So, so yeah, here we are. So I actually had nothing going on tonight, so it worked plainly. So without further ado, here's the horse of all trades himself. What's up, boss?
Hey, always glad to be back on your channel. Thanks for having me again, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to not have to drink alone, but instead drink in the company of friends, which is the best way to drink outside of when you're drinking for free, which generally you have to do with friends too. So like drinking with a friend who buys you something to drink is actually that's S tier. Just below that is when you're buying, still acceptable.
Yeah, and I feel like I still feel like I still feel kind of bad, even though I was in your house, and I even told you, I was like, you know what, I don't feel comfortable. You gave up drinking for Lent, So I mean, I gave up Lent for Lent a long time ago, but that's just me. But
I think a lot of people have done it that way, actually. So, you're in probably, at least large company. I don't know about good company, but large company.
Yeah. So I was just like, I don't feel like drinking. But you offered, you said, you know what, go for it. And you used your wife saying, oh, she drinks in front of me all the time. So it's all right. And then a few days, like a few weeks later, you go on Twitter saying, Drunkporeal's such a jerk. He drank in front of me and everything. So I was just like, not cool, dude. Not cool.
Well, I mean, that's how you know that it was in the true spirit of friendship. In that, I offered you some of my choice whiskeys, and then later gave you shit about it, as any good friend should do under the circumstances. Like if I didn't give you shit about it, then you would know that like it really actually hurt me. Right, like that's the difference between guy friends, right? Like guy friends, are like that,
yeah. That's what we do. We give each other shit, then we forget about it.
Exactly.
So, but I forget what did you? I forget. Do you even remember what I had? I don't even remember what I was drinking. I know it was a bourbon.
I think I gave you a sip of actually what I'm drinking tonight, which is my Aberlour. So I gave you some of that, which this is their Abuna. It's kind of an interesting single malt, but we'll talk about that if you guys are interested. And then I gave you some of my favorite bourbon, which is Jefferson's Ocean. So you had a couple things, and I think you went back to the ocean a few times, if I remember. You were on quite the voyage.
Okay, that's okay. All right, because I saw that. I went to the liquor store. I saw that. I was like, was that one of the things that I had?
It was, yeah.
Okay, all right. So, all right, but you know what's funny is Mags couldn't make it tonight. She had her own plans, so I mean that's just how it goes, I guess. So we got a replacement. Well, we didn't quite get it. We can't quite replace Mags, but you know who we got? We got not just a man, but a man of Nethrin.
Oh, and he's bringing the goods. Look at that.
Yeah, look at that.
That is. Hey, that thing's got some legs on us. Can you show that again? Give it a little swirl so we can see those legs. Oh, look at those. Those just go for miles, don't they? That's
Hey, I've got legs and I know how to use them.
So I have to begin
my wife is
with.
going to investigate this conversation. She's going to be like, "What the hell are they talking about? What are you watching in there?"
So
It's bourbon, I swear.
All right. So just to get things on course, I want to begin by what you guys are drinking. So we'll start with Nathan. Nathan, what are you drinking tonight?
I am starting with one of my favorite ryes, Wild Turkey 101. Nice $25 easily available rye in most states. And it's freaking delicious.
So I got a question. This is going to sound dumb, but I always think of Thanksgiving when I hear wild turkey. Do you guys ever have wild turkey on Thanksgiving or around Thanksgiving or something? Maybe.
No, I haven't.
I don't know why I think that way. It's just...
Thanksgiving and rye.
Nate, have you ever gotten super sauced with relatives around Thanksgiving? Has that ever happened to you before? Yeah, me either. No, never have I ever drank wild turkey to an unreasonable extent around a family dinner around Thanksgiving. Never once happened. Never.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is like I never really I'm late to the bourbon train, past about 5 years or whatever. And never thought that I would ever be interested in drinking anything wild turkey because I just hear the bottom shelf stories. And then someone just said, no, if you want your best bang for buck, go with the 101. And I haven't turned back. I'm a big fan. I got empty bottles of Rare Breed, and I need to get some Russells is what I need to start trying.
Ooh, I got a bottle of that in my kitchen right now.
I will give you my address later.
Well, I mean, it's a bottle like this is a bottle, which is
slightly used.
Yeah, it's there. You go. It's gently used, coming your way.
Certified pre-owned.
You got anything else?
I got others. I'll introduce those as I pour them, though.
Okay. How about you, Pips? What are you drinking right now?
So, like I said, I got my. I'm starting out with my Abelauer Abuna, which is cask strength. So this one's 61.5%. So I think I might have your 101 beat, but it's pretty solid stuff. It's a Speyside, which is actually where most Scotch is made. Speyside is the number one Scotch producing region. But this one's got an interesting story, at least an apocryphal story. It's probably a lie, but that's the best kind of story. So allegedly, the story goes that the distillery was expanding one of their historic kind of distillery locations, and so they had construction teams in. They were knocking out walls, adding extra stills, all that kind of stuff. And apparently, the construction team came across essentially a time capsule in one of the walls. Had a bunch of bottles of the old distillery product, right? And the construction team apparently helped themselves to a taste, but they did keep one bottle at least. And the master distillers at Abelauer were given that bottle. They were able to taste it, and they were able to reconstruct the sort of just the flavor profile, so the blend, if you will, of that old bottle. And that's the story behind this Abuna, at least the marketing story. And it's really solid stuff. It's one of my favorites. Like I said, cask strength. It's finished in sherry casks, which is my favorite way of finishing Scotch. And had it for the first time at a good buddy's, we'll say first wedding. He hasn't had his second wedding yet, but we'll say first wedding. And I pick it up whenever I can find it now. So that's how I'm drinking.
Nice. Well, right here, I was at the liquor store. I had no idea what to buy, and I saw this green bottle, and because they love to say, "Oh, it's green," and on Star Trek, I was like, you know what? I haven't had a Scotch in a while, so I was like, you know what? I'm figuring I might as well go with something authentic from Scotland, according to this. Produced, blended, and bottled in Scotland. Green Isle.
You tasted that yet?
I
Or
have
are you
not.
about to
I
open
have
that on
not
camera?
tasted yet. I have not tasted yet. I'm going to pour it and I'm going to drink it on camera. But it says it's deluxe, sweet, smooth, and smoky blended Scotch whiskey. At the heart of this epic tale is the unmistakable character of, is it Islay or Islay? Islay malt, masterfully blended with Speyside malt and lowland grained whiskeys. So you know what?
Islay.
I've generally heard Isla or Islay, yeah.
Yeah.
But those are the three major producing regions. There's also Lowland. But Nate, what is your prediction here? I am not predicting good.
I've never heard of it. Now, I am not so much of a Scotch guy myself. I find it a lot of times lately, especially since I've been diving into bourbon really heavy the past few months, to be a little
Slangeva, Brian.
Slangeva.
Yes. Cheers.
Smooth.
Is it peaty?
I want to say that saying smooth could really go either way when you're trying unknown whiskey. It could be a smooth.
I smell the smoke.
Yeah. Do you smell earth? Like dirt, like peat moss?
So I always describe it as formaldehyde. If you smell formaldehyde, that's the peat.
Yeah, I've heard Band-Aid.
Ugh. The smell of rotting, decomposing, or alternatively preserved things. He keeps going back to the well, though. I mean, he's he's really,
Drunkporeal isn't about to be a myth soon. Holy cow, dude!
Drunkporeal might be sitting over there thinking, something that my grandfather, now deceased, unfortunately, but my grandfather had a great saying about some good drink or good food occasionally. He's like, this has the most peculiar aftertaste. It tastes like more. Nice.
Right.
There you go. Now he's in the zone. Now he's ready to do some work.
All right. So what are your thoughts, Brian?
Tastes feeling it down here. It's not too bad. It's not too bad for my very, very, very exquisite palate.
So did that say that it's an Islay Scotch?
Islay malt.
Okay.
Is the unmistakable character of Islay malt, masterfully blended with Speyside malt and lowland grain whiskeys. So it's a blended whiskey. That's a blended Scotch whiskey.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going to two different regions there. Speysides are good. So yeah, they're so that's probably, I don't know. It's
okay. I have to address this right here. I am my own man. I did buy these sunglasses when I hung out with Pips because for reasons, but
he was immediately 10% cooler.
See, Pips looks normal with his sunglasses. I look menacing because of the reflection because of my computer. Yeah. So I'm here to provide. I'm here to keep the chat on their toes. Well, I may be watching
when you go to restaurants and it says no shirt, no shoes, no service. When you go to Pips, it says no sunglasses, no entrance.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm trying to think. No, I'm not going to make that joke. I'm not drunk enough to make that joke.
All right, so come back at midnight, folks.
Mainly, my wife is too awake for me to make that joke. When she's not here to hear it in the other room, I might make some of those jokes.
There you go.
Man. So what are we, other than just talking about booze and hanging out, which I am always on board with, what I was told that this would be one thing and one thing mainly, which would be the Brian just goes hard in the paint on Picard season 3.
Oh shit!
You guys,
Are we gonna see Drunkporeal do like the people's elbow right on top of Jean-Luc?
Yeah, give me a second. I'm gonna try this Four Roses next. This bourbon.
Oh yeah.
Small batch select Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey,
Yeah.
crafted from 6 unique bourbons.
So
52%.
do yourself a favor, real quick, Brian. Get a mouthful of water, swish it around, get the scotch out of your mouth.
That's
Because
fair.
that's going to impact your palate on the bourbon.
All right, then I'm going to have to leave for a minute. So I guess Pips is in command.
Perfect.
Bad idea.
Salty in the chat is saying Four Roses rocks, which actually I think Four Roses might have been the subject of a gentlemanly wager that the two of us had on, I believe, the over under of 4 seasons for the Wheel of Time show. We'll find out. I keep on hearing more and more about this thing. They keep on saying season 2 is coming at some point in the future. We can't tell you about it now, but like it's definitely it's a thing.
We got season 3.
We promise. We 100% the tapes did not get destroyed in an on-set fire at the Rings of Power filming location. That's fake news. That's 100% fake news. Other general vague stuff. Can you vouch for that, Nate?
Oh, the only thing I keep hearing from them retards over there is stuff about season 3. Season 2 is like
it's so hilarious.
It's vanished like Rand after he finished reading the books. You don't hear any. Or Yasha, whatever his name is.
Yasha, yeah, probably Yasha.
Yeah,
we'll say Yasha. It's a silent J.
Dude, he got put on the Clinton kill list, I think, because he has absolutely disappeared.
He's gonna end up in a lake like he's an enemy of the Kennedys.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah.
Oh man, that's interesting. Yeah, it is funny that you bring it up. They keep on like, oh, season 3 stuff, and you're like, season 2 has like you don't even have a release date for season 2. You can't talk about season 3. Like, what are you even doing?
I have never heard people talk about the season that hasn't been released yet, but the one that they're working on before it's been released. I mean, their filming schedule, all that stuff has been so out of whack. It has been like nothing I've ever seen before.
Don't you know it's 2023, approaching summer of 2023? It's Covens Fault.
Yes, because why not?
Look at that syrup going in the glass there, guys. Do you guys see that? That's a beautiful thing to behold.
I don't think you're going to be disappointed with that bottle, Brian. It is delicious stuff.
Better than the Green Isle.
Probably.
What do you guys think? Do we need to do a mayo stream with? Wait a second, that sounds wrong. We're not. No streams of mayo. It sounds worse when I say it that way.
We have to help him come up with ideas now. So he used the baseball bat. He used the golf club. I think the next thing he should do is a hockey. He should do something with like a hockey stick or a tennis racket or I don't know. Whatever ideas you can to. There's a million ways to destroy something. So just gotta be creative about it. Yeah, maybe hook him up with some plutonium. He built a bomb, or even worse, a time machine.
Yeah.
Send the Mayo 8 miles per hour back into 1955.
Mr. Fusion.
Alternatively, if you're trying to completely destroy something, you can just ship it to Rafe Judkins.
Mm.
I get it. Yeah,
oh man.
Sucks. Of course,
although Salty, I think might be right.
The Mayo as
M80s and Mayo packets might be a stream that that's how you get monetized right there. That's it's the high quality YouTube content that the people need.
What's up, Jacob?
I think I actually saw that on Mr. Beast. Oh man. Gosh,
Is that the transition stream?
This is just better. This is just better every time. You know, every time I taste it, I'm like, oh, it's even better than I remembered it last time, which so good. So good. So how's the Four Roses though, Brian? It tastes like more. See, he's getting it. He's getting it. Yes. You start sucking it through your teeth and doing the little like. We're gonna have to end the stream. We're gonna have to end the stream.
Yeah, poor manners on my part. It's
I don't know. Salty's on board with this. If he gets a spit bucket to start tasting these, the stream's over. We've peaked. We've jumped the shark.
It's not over until I say it's over.
Nosferatu, you know, that might be the reason that I had to wear sunglasses on our joint stream.
Ooh.
What?
Oh, just the comment by Nosferatu. I was just answering. Don't worry about it. Don't scroll up and read the things in the chat. I was talking. I was probably replying to like a different comment though. You know what? Hey, I think I hear someone calling my name real quick.
Yeah. Pips doesn't talk about it for reasons.
Because you don't talk about fact or yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I'm very intimidating person in person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm like that intimidating. So.
Columbus.
Am I still there? Did I get lost?
Yep. Nope,
how did I materialize here? Shit.
What happened there? All right, we're all.
I think the showrunners of Picard season 3 are fucking with me, so I'm gonna put myself on the bottom this time.
Nice dig.
I'm just gonna see what's going on because my internet is generally trash.
Hey, yeah, I use your internet. I had no issues with your internet when I streamed Picard episode 3. Mm-hmm. So
that makes sense actually because like when you have guests over, the house knows, right? Like it's going to pick a fight with you. It's not going to embarrass you in front of your friends, though. You know what I mean? Like that's It's like one of those. I know you're not a Stephen King person, but there's house entities in his books and everything. So that's probably what it is. You live in an old house anyways, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's some. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some entity inhabiting it, but probably nowhere near as evil as let's say like the Overlook Hotel from The Shining. It's just. I mean, it's just there to kind of mess with you once in a while. So, fair. And internet's the best way to do it. I think electronics. What I've discovered here is that like my Wi-Fi mesh network prioritizes my PC really low because when I go into the network and I prioritize it, I went from 2 megs down to 25 just by hitting the prioritize button. Mm-hmm. So I need to probably go mess with that and just like permanently prioritize my PC. But we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't have any issues. What I was saying, so Aldan tweeted about this.
Drunkporeal started to sink. I don't know what that means. I'm going to drink to that.
I think it's you're finding the bottom of your glass. You need a refill. Bring yourself back up to the top so you can escape.
Yeah. I have to climb out. I have to climb my way. Yeah. Just like that.
Yeah, you saw Beer Fest. You saw Beer Fest, right? You have to.
A long time ago. I saw that I was in college when I saw that movie.
I actually just watched that about a month ago.
I consider it a sequel to, even though it has nothing to do with it. I consider it a sequel to Super Troopers. Same guys.
So yeah, it is. What is it? Broken Lizard, right? Like it is. It is Broken Lizard. It's not actually. There's one of their crew that is not in it. That is in Super Troopers. I don't remember which one it is. So it's not, kind of the whole gang, but it's most of it. Also who's got Farva and which one? The You Boys Like Mexico guy.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name in
Yeah, they got
show.
that show on.
Yeah, Tucson FD or something like that.
Yeah, is that any good?
It actually is pretty funny. It's not good. It's not a surprising show. Like it's like a comedy fire department procedural. So it's their kind of comedy, but in like an office style show for a fire department. So it's just stupid slapstick and whatever, and the two of them being good. And Tacoma FD, thank you, Tacoma, not Tucson. But it's funny. Like it's totally worth sitting there playing on your phone, drinking a beer, eating some popcorn. It's a good time.
Can you stream it?
Can I?
Can you stream it? Like if I wanted to watch it, where can I watch it? Is it available to stream?
Oh, that is a good question, Joseph Dredd. You seem like you know it in the chat. Is it? You think?
Tell me.
I can't remember where it's streamed. I guess is the issue. It is streamable. I just don't remember what streaming service it's on.
I'll have to watch it. I like those guys. It's been a while since I've watched any of those movies. I know they made like a sequel. Didn't they make like a sequel or something?
I feel like it might be HBO, but I'm just like not 100% sure.
All right. So
yes, Trip.
So
Kahlua is one that's super weird to just drink Kahlua. Like, does anyone drink Kahlua straight other than Trip? Like,
who drinks Kahlua straight?
Drinking Kahlua straight is the thing that like only. Yeah, like that's
what else
like
you drink it with.
True alcoholic drinks Kahlua straight, which
maybe,
like first of all,
or maybe some milk if you want to, if you want to have a dessert or something. I don't know. Joseph Dredd says True TV. Okay,
Trip drinks it with Coke. Kahlua and Coke sounds disgusting. I'm just gonna throw that out there. That's
maybe it's like vanilla Coke. Maybe it has that vanilla Coke kind of taste.
Isn't Kahlua like the Ensure of alcoholic drinks?
You're gonna have to expound on that because
I'm feeling something right now. This is gonna be fun.
That's good.
It's gonna be fun.
That's good. Okay.
All right. So I'll have to check out. So
this is called drank those glasses. If you're not feeling something.
So this is called Tacoma. I'll have to write this down. Tacoma FD. So fire department. Oh my god.
All right, so
does Farva order like a chicken sandwich again, and then he's like, "I want it this way," and then the kid he punches the dude.
It wasn't a chicken sandwich. It was like
the leader of cola.
It's like a Ditz burger or something like that. There was some stupid name for the restaurant. It was started with a D. It was like Dink or Ditz or something like that, and it was like a Ditz burger. It was something dumb.
I need to watch.
Yeah,
these.
It was. I don't want a large Farva. I want a damn liter of cola.
Yeah. This is funny. I kid you not. I used to work with a guy years ago who looked and acted exactly like Farva.
We had a
fat and unlikable.
He looked like that sloppy short order cook in the back with an apron. I mean, it was unreal. We made fun of him mercilessly after that movie came out.
Farva reminds me of.
He's got better taste than me.
All right,
he says it's dumb fun. I agree.
All right, Farva reminds me of Farva reminds me of the dude from Full Metal Jacket. What's his name? Gomer Pyle. It kind of reminds me of him a little bit. I don't know why.
7.62 millimeter Full Metal Jacket.
They gotta do that. Well, you can't do.
Went downhill.
Sunglasses.
That honestly, it's a funny movie because I think most people forget that the movie continues after that point.
Yeah.
Is it? I got a question.
Most people's recollection, it's basic training.
Tips, I got to ask you: Is it accurate to the Marine Corps?
Oh well, back in my time as a leatherneck during Vietnam, it was very accurate portrayal. It's exactly how I remember it. That's,
So in other words, Pips, are
I'm-
you saying that you
just
used to
look
be
at
able
me.
to suck
I'm
a
more
golf ball through a
embalmed.
garden hose?
Pips
I'm
is
more
the old
involved than
man.
Nosferatu. That's all
Pips,
this is.
so even though Pips looks the youngest of the three of us, Pips is the old man of this group. He's in his late 60s, and he just drank the fountain of youth. That's what it is. So yeah, he's a non-vet. He's served in every freaking he's fought in every war.
So what's interesting about that movie? Like that movie is hilarious for like the first 40-45 minutes, and then it gets all depressing as shit. And it mirrors exactly like Good Morning Vietnam. Funny as hell.
Man,
and then
it's
it
been a
gets
while
depressing
since
as
I watched
shit.
that. I love that movie, Morning Vietnam.
I love the first half of those movies. I don't have them or watch them because after that it's kind of I'm then getting preached to about the evils of the Vietnam War and how bad America is and shit like that.
Yeah, Nathan, didn't you say Kubrick was like your favorite director in 2001: A Space Odyssey's your favorite movie?
Right.
Like way better than Peter Jackson's
Dude.
Lord of the Rings by far. Like you really dug that moment where Dr. Bowman is like he's waiting. He's about to launch out of his little shuttle pod. He has no helmet. He has no environment. He has to go launch himself into space and get back on board the Discovery, not the Star Trek Discovery, the Discovery.
No, I think he had to board Picard, didn't he?
Let's not talk. We'll get to Picard, but hey.
Oh no, I was just.
And then he goes into this big red room, starts floating around, and just disconnects the HAL 9000 computer. What do you think you're doing, Nathan? I think I'm entitled an answer to that question, Nathan. Huh? Yeah. Nathan, please stop, Nathan. Please stop, Nathan.
Yeah. Kiss my ass, you shiny red dot.
Yeah, that's actually my next movie retrospective. Once I've been really slow with
Guarantee
I'm almost done.
Your retrospective is going to be more entertaining than the movie itself.
Yeah, I just don't want to copy too much because I've listened to quite a bit of this one channel called Collative Learning where he goes into detail, like insane detail, just observing Kubrick stuff and coming up with his own ideas. I just don't want to steal his ideas. I just kind of want to watch the video or watch the movie, have my own little interpretation of it, and that's what the retrospective is going to be. It's not going to be me talking about the movie because there's not much to talk about. I can talk about the entire plot of the movie in like 30 seconds. Like that's how because that's how much dialogue there is in 2001. So Klaus Kinski, the one dude that in the spaghetti western that freaking kills everybody and gets away with it, the bad guy that wins. I'm just telling you right now, I've been watching a shit ton of spaghetti westerns the last week or so, mainly because of what Razorfist video that he did talking about like the movies that he said that really inspired his comic that he's working on. So I've been watching a bunch of shit I've never seen before. And you know what? Like The Great Silence is a fucked up movie. It's you think it's going in one direction, but it completely subverts it at the end. But then again, because of the bleak ending that it has, they had to come up with other endings to kind of appease. So this was the late 60s. Who likes bleak endings? Pips, I don't think you like. Do you like a bleak ending to a movie?
It depends. I would say no, right?
Yeah.
But one of the things that I do actually like when a story goes to a great effort to make a antagonist sort of the protagonist, right? When the villain is the protagonist and they do a good job, they make them empathetic. I'm actually okay with the occasional movie that just has the bad guy win, right?
Yeah.
So actually, this is Nas and other people, probably Shy. Shy does anime stuff. He's going to tell me that I'm super basic for saying this, right? But I don't know, 15 years ago or so, when I was still in college, like the first time. I watched the anime series Death Note, and season 1 was great because it built up this character that
season 1.
a huge
Season
villain,
1,
right? Like he was, yeah.
what's
There's two seasons. There's 2 seasons of Death Note.
There's not. It's one series. It's
Okay.
37 episodes.
Okay.
Okay. I know what you're getting at. Season 1. All right.
Yeah.
Arc. All right. I got. All right.
Yes.
Sorry.
And the first arc ends with him winning.
Yeah.
And you're like, and like, it should have stopped. It should have stopped, right? Like it was the perfect story. You're like you watch it and you're like, holy shit, right? Like it's so good, right? And then you watch season 2 and convoluted all of this stuff to Deus Ex Machina, the ending and stuff, right? To give you like the feel good ending, but it wasn't right. And so I think that there's a time and place for a story to just accept that, like, hey, the good guy doesn't always win, right? Sometimes the black hat wins. That's a part of life too. And those stories can be really good when they set up the villain in the right way. When they don't try and make the villain sympathetic, they make the villain empathetic. And there's a difference. So
you're saying I need to break out Death Note and watch that?
If you haven't, like, honestly, even like,
I haven't.
So if you don't like anime and have never watched it and all this kind of stuff, Death
I'm
Note
actually
is.
I'm actually getting into it. My daughter is into it, and so
I'd say it's a
trying to
must
find
watch.
stuff.
Death Note's a great series.
I would say it's
actually.
a must watch. I would say
it's definitely a must watch.
If you're even like open to anime, right? So if you've watched others and you're like, this is okay, it's a must watch.
Imagine if you had the means to end anybody's life. That's basically what Death Note is. If you have the ability to write a name in a book and that person dies, you have the power of life and death. I mean, what I mean, that's what that show, that's what the anime explores. Okay. But there's another anime that I've recommended quite a bit, and I've recommended on the on my channel on the White Cloaks Discord. It's a series called Monster. Imagine if you're a brain surgeon, if you're a Japanese brain surgeon living in Germany or I don't know if it was East Germany or West Germany during the 80s. You save the life of a child, and you go against all the hospital procedures or the hospital politics to save this child instead of, let's say, like a celebrity or a mayor. And let's say that child grows up to be one of the biggest mass murderers and manipulators in history. And let's just say, like, the kid not only grew up to be a monster, but he grew up to be a phantom. That's basically what Monster is. It's a very long series, a lot of characters, very psychological, really goes deep into like child psychology, philosophy. It's heck, if you don't even like that, Wilford Brimley's in the series. You got a Wilford Brimley looking
diabetes into it.
Well, he plays a psychologist, but he's basically the character looks just like Wilford Brimley, just completely modeled after him. Like you can't miss it. But it's a great series, and it's on Netflix right now. So definitely if you're looking for a good series, it doesn't have any of the anime tropes. This is a psychological thriller. There's horror elements. There's like insane amounts of tension, and there's a lot of characters. There's a lot of characters, and there's a lot of great character driven elements that really drive the story going forward. And it's just it's a mystery done right. Like we're unpeeling layers of onion into this monster character. Like, who is he? Why is he doing what he's doing? Like, and it doesn't even answer all the questions. Like it's like a psychological thriller. It fucks with you. So. And it's one of the best shows I've ever seen. I've watched that series 4 times. There's always something new to take away from it. And this is the reason why I'm so hard on modern entertainment, because I've watched good anime shows and I've watched good Star Trek. And I mean, that's why I fucking hate season 3 of Picard.
Well, it's like
we're finally getting there.
Yeah. Well, you recommended to me some shows because we just subscribe to Crunchyroll, and so I've been looking for stuff on there, but I can't tell heads or tails from anything on there. But you recommended Vinland Saga, and so I started.
I have not.
that.
Yeah, I've not. I've not. I'm familiar with it. It's based in history. I forget, like Viking. I don't know if it's Viking history, but
Yep.
Based on
Vikings crossing Iceland
saga.
into America.
yeah. So like I was aware of the manga for a long time. I was curious if it would ever be adapted as an anime. Apparently, they did not too long ago. And the style reminded me a little bit of Berserk, but without the fantasy, the dark fantasy elements. You know, without and of course, I think it's a lot less grimdark than Berserk. Like Berserk has.
Well,
Oh, dude,
I've
Berserk
seen.
is just.
I saw one thing of Berserker, and I thought, "Holy shit, that's
it's a great story, but it is like if you don't like grimdark, you will not like Berserk.
Yeah,
like, it is.
I was kind of lukewarm on it.
Like I think I was when I was in college. I think I was in mid 2000s. I was in college. I went to an anime convention with Buddy. My buddy told me about this series Berserk. I looked it up on Anime News Network when it was sane, and I was just like, I'm curious about this series. I heard it's violent, and my friend's like, no, it's fucked up. Like, is that how you describe? He's like, yeah. And then I watched it, and I was like, oh, dude, it is fucked up. And then I read the manga because I started buying the hardcovers now that the original manga creator passed away a couple of years ago. So I was like, okay, this is done. This is going to be like, Game of Thrones, like we're not going to get an ending to this. But then it got restarted by the manga creator's friend. So, and he's been putting out chapters, like more chapters than the original manga creator did when he was alive. So we might get an ending. So I started buying the manga, started reading again, and it's more fucked up.
I had heard about that, and that's why I went and checked out whatever it was that was on Netflix at the time, and I thought, okay, well, that was interesting. I will say though, like I've watched, I think the first 5 episodes. I think there's 2 seasons right now of Vinland Saga. I don't know if they're doing more, but the freaking animation in that is gorgeous as hell.
That's cool,
and I've been pretty entertained by it. It's it's just got just basic Viking story type stuff. It's nothing super deep, at least at the moment, anyway.
Yeah, the only thing I know is that that the main character, is he's a teenager, and he's on the ship with this captain. This captain is responsible for, let's just say, he's responsible for the death of someone he cares about. I won't say who.
Yep.
And he wants to kill him. And the captain is like, you're free to kill me. Just, but the thing is, are you ready? Can you kill me? So, and then that's kind of, that's what the first arc is basically. So,
yeah,
I've been watching.
I've got through.
I've read the synopsis of the series. So,
yeah, well, and I just got through the part where he killed that important person to him as a kid, and now he's just like the episode ended him looking at him being his ship being towed by the other guy's ship, and he's just staring at him as he's getting towed. It's like, well,
I think it's still on Amazon, isn't it? Or is it? Or no, it's on Crunchyroll now. It's on
Crunchyroll. So. I think it's on. If it's not on Amazon, it's on Netflix. It's on one of the two. But I figure since I'm paying for Crunchyroll, then
Crunchyroll's got a lot of great stuff. I mean, there's a lot of shit, but there's a lot of gems in the collection, or in the you know what I mean.
It's just like anything else. You mass produce a bunch of stuff, and there's going to be stuff out there that is absolute complete garbage. But one of the things that I found, oh, you bastard, that's great stuff. But what I've found is the stuff that I've watched, Jacob, it was Vinland Saga is what we were just talking about. But the anime stuff that I've been watching with my daughter, whether it's Naruto or Demon Slayer, it's better writing than most of the crap that we got going on now. It's just unreal.
Like it's insane. Like, I mean, like I said, like it is the reason why I'm so critical of newer stuff. Like, because you can do serialized storytelling well. I mean, anime has done it for a long time. I mean, you watch shows like Escaflowne, you watch shows like Cowboy Bebop, which is more or less episodic, but still has an overarching, story with the characters. I mean, that works. Like you can do stuff with, even with the new Trek. I mean, you can do stuff. They just don't. They don't even try to be consistent with themselves, let alone early Trek.
Well, and the other thing that I like about the storytelling is like Naruto, or however you pronounce it, because my daughter sits there and yells at me every time I say it.
Naruto.
Yeah, sure.
Naruto.
It's just the Pokemans, all right? You got the Pokemans, you got the...
Yes.
Just get rid, you got to get rid of the emphasizing and just say Naruto. That's it. Yeah. Naruto.
I know they saved the emphasis on the last syllable is
Naruto, like that.
But what's great about that show is like they can have an entire season span the course of like a half an hour, but they do all this inner monologue stuff, and they build out all the storyline, and they don't do it in a way where you're like, okay, get on with it. It actually works. It actually they take the time over the course of the season to build out the characters, build out the story so that it all makes sense, instead of trying to sit there and say, okay, here's our end goal in episode 10. Now we're going to throw everything at it and see what sticks. And if it doesn't, well, that's okay, because, we're going to put a bunch of fan service in those holes, and it'll make everybody smile and praise us. Wonder what I'm referencing there. But speaking of good fan service, how about that Super Mario Brothers movie?
I loved that movie. Like it really touched upon my childhood. I mean, I used to watch the Super Show every day when I was in kindergarten, coming home from school. And I mean, for the longest time, my headcanon, Mario and Luigi were from Brooklyn, New York, and they were plumbers that got sucked down a green drain pipe and landed in the Mushroom Kingdom. I mean, that's how the original Super Show did. And I just love how they honored the Super Show, and they even honored the shitty live action movie. Remember that shitty live action movie, Trust the Fungus, and Koopa is Dennis Hopper, because Dennis Hopper needed money for his divorce, for his several divorces that he had. So, I mean, he was in every freaking movie as a bad guy. Like he was typecast as a bad guy in the early 90s. So why not Mario too? Why not just Spike? Just Spike is here and make him look like Bowser, make him look like or King Koopa.
So I missed the nod to that movie from in the. How did they reference that one?
The fact that they were plumbers in Brooklyn. They were driving a truck, and I mean the truck was. It was almost the same type of truck. They instead of normally written as Super Mario Brothers, they used the original logo from the game, the original Super Mario Brothers game, and that was their.
I thought you said they even referenced the old live action movie.
They do the 90s, the Bob Hoskins. Yeah, that's what they. Yeah, that's how they did. That's how they did it.
Okay.
It's I was surprised. Like nobody likes that movie. I showed that to Steve's kids, Prophet's kids, and they're like, "What the fuck is this? Like, why are you showing us this movie?" I'm like, "Well, this was part of my childhood. I saw this. I was an 8-year-old seeing that movie, and that movie is not for 8-year-olds. I'll say that. That live action 1993 Super Mario Bros. movie is not for 8-year-olds. But I saw it. Yeah, I saw it anyway. My dad took me to see it. Like there's a moment where he's dancing with Big Bertha, and Big Bertha's looking all busty and very sexy, and he sticks his head into her
cleavage,
and tries to get the rock that she's wearing on her neck, because they need the rock to seal the dimensions away. And geez, I'm spilling shit. I think.
Well, here, while you take a sip, Gray hopped in and gave us a shameless plug, member for 7 months.
Nice.
Pie.
What's he saying? I can't see
Picard.
What is he saying? What is he saying, Pips? Tell me, Pips. I need to know.
He asked if you're missing Picard.
Oh,
he lured you in. He got you. He lured you in, and then he just clocked you right as you came onto the boat. Like you really...
Yeah. So I mean, like, so yeah. So Gray was the bright center of the universe for my Picard after shows. So me and Steve, Steve is the rage baiter. Steve fucking ruined. I'll be honest, Steve, you fucking ruined my enjoyment of the show. I cannot unsee what I cannot unhear what I've heard. Like I can't. I like my a buddy of mine was watching my streams. Old buddy for years. He's just like he's like he's like you're the guy you're watching with is just ruining your experience. He's telling you things that you shouldn't be hearing. You should enjoy it by yourself. Watch it by yourself, and you'll enjoy it. So.
That's what Grayson was telling you in our Discord. I think he was like, "Look, you got to watch it by yourself first, because you guys are watching it with Grayson, the intent to break it down."
Yeah, Grayson was on last week. He said his piece. So, and I have nothing but appreciation for him. I will always, I will make fun of him for liking Picard, but you know what? Make fun of him in a very not in a nice way, you
can't trust him. I mean, he liked Andor.
It's what men do.
You can't trust those people.
Yeah, what's funny is I have to say this. I didn't say this last time because I know you asked. Pips, I think Picard's the better Star Wars show than Andor.
You said it. You said it last time, and then
I did not say that.
And then you admitted that no, actually, you were just lying to try and pull back some of your reputation, but you really don't think it was any good, all that kind of stuff. But I will say that the season finale of Picard was a better Star Wars show than a Star Trek show. In fact, it looked strangely familiar to another Star Wars that I feel I was watching it and I was like, oh, I've seen this movie, and then I was like, oh wait, never mind.
Yeah, what happened? What happened? I'm going to spoil.
It was weird. I turned on Picard, and then the text scroll started. I was like, what is?
It's funny. It's funny, Pips. It's funny that you talk about Picard because I asked you, I was like, hey, you're gonna watch Picard? He's like, you're like, dude, I've not even seen seasons 1 and 2. I'm not gonna watch New Trek. Fuck you. Okay, you didn't say fuck you. I'm just adding that in just.
No, I did. I said it. You can pause. You can attribute that. I did that.
And so I'm watching Picard with Steve, and I'm excited. First episode one, I am excited. Like everybody's saying it's good. Dave Cullen saying it's good. Robert Burnett saying it's good. A lot of people are saying it's good. That I used to trust. Well, let's just say the reason why Pip started watching is because I started getting sour on Picard. Like once episode 2 came out, I was like, oh, I've seen this shit before. They've done this before in season 1 where they just waste time for no reason because they just need to pad out the story and they're not adding anything of significance. And I think you started watching. Well, I came by your place, and I mean, you wanted to catch up just so that you could be on the stream for episode 3, but I think you started watching because you were just interested in the fact that I was souring on the series.
So actually, I don't want to take over your stream here with like some philosophical musings, but I'm going to let you and the 10 people that are watching this right now in on a secret that I've discovered. It's actually a fundamental law of the universe. I'm working on my dissertation papers, trying to get it all tightened up. So someday this will be published, peer reviewed, all that other stuff. So you'll it's valid, right? But let me just lay it down for you, right? So this is in the future to be known as Pip's Law. Right now, the full title, working title, is the Law of Conservation of Happiness. Which is there's a finite amount of happiness that exists in the universe. Happiness can neither be created nor destroyed. It must be conserved, right? And here's the real secret to the law of conservation of happiness. It's an efficiency of exchange principle, right? And I'm gonna try and paint this. Yep, efficiency of exchange.
Efficiency of exchange. Right? What's that mean?
Conductivity, right? So like energy that goes from one form to another, it has to be converted and conducted from one to the other. And you normally think there are losses, right? There, heat losses, things like that. It gets diffused, right? Like it spreads. And so if you want to efficiently capture that happiness and use it for yourself, you need to bring the connection closer, right? So here's to paint the picture. Anybody who's sitting at home and like, I don't believe this, right? Let me paint the picture for you, okay? If you say the Powerball is up at like $1 billion, right? And you read the newspaper tomorrow, and you're like, oh yeah, somebody in Wyoming won the big multi-state Powerball or something, right? That person who won, extremely happy, right? You weren't affected at all, right? It doesn't change anything for you. And you're like, see, happiness created, not conserved, right? But imagine that instead of a person out in Wyoming, what if your coworkers did an office pool and you decided not to participate because it's just throwing your money away, right? And the office pool won the $1 billion, and you're now the only person who's not a billionaire. That's like that's take a header off the roof level of unhappiness, because so many people so close to you just became so happy. You are too efficient of a conduit. The happiness is going to be sucked out of you to fill that void of happiness that is flowing into those individuals. Happiness has to be conserved. You see, you guys, Nate, tell me what I'm laying down as facts here, right? Like that's, yeah.
So I just put it in chat, but it makes more sense than Picard.
So what happened was,
I got a drink.
Is Brian, the Nerdporeal life form, he was losing a lot of happiness. Like he was really suffering watching Picard. And I, as a friend of his, right, I wanted to have happiness in the tank for when he's in need in the future. So I had to make sure that I could efficiently capture some of his happiness. So I had to bring our connection closer. I had to make that a more efficient conduit. So I watched Picard to participate in the stream, so that now, instead of that happiness getting wasted out into the ether with random strangers nearby, like the person that lives next door to you, just being happy for no reason and not understanding why. Now I got to be happy from your unhappiness, and I know that sounds selfish. I know you're sitting.
It sounds terrible. You sound like a terrible person.
What I'm telling you is no. Roll the clock forward. Right. I want you to think about it. Roll the clock forward. Right. When Wheel of Time season 2 comes out,
oh boy,
I'm gonna have all this happiness to give back to you. Right. Like that's how this works. It has to.
If it ever comes out, dude, it's not gonna come out at this rate.
I'm just
who the fuck is going to be happy with season 2?
Exactly. People who are nearby proximity to my suffering. The happiness has to go somewhere. It's like water. So like it has to flow out. I'm going to be so miserable. So that everybody else is just their cup will runneth over and they won't even know why.
So basically, the moral of the story is, folks, don't put screen doors on submarines.
Sure. Yeah. Those are facts. But there you go. Conservation of happiness. It's a real thing. Any of you guys who are suspicious.
Happiness cannot be created or destroyed.
Yeah. These are facts.
You're talking to an engineer who had to learn. That was the entire basis of the first law of thermodynamics. I had to take the course. I mean, that's part of.
I know you
part
may
of the
not
engineering
think
curriculum.
You might think that I'm just some dumb schmuck horse, but
you're not, dude. You were talking, dude. We were talking about Game of Thrones, and you somehow connected it to Adam Smith. We were talking about the end of Game of Thrones. We were talking about the Daenerys, the Daenerys arc. And you connected that to Adam fucking Smith, the economist from the 18th century, dude. I know because we talked about this. We're not live, but we talked about this in person. So now everybody knows.
You can't you can't believe
wrong.
It. I mean,
there's time season 3 will be out before season 2.
You know what? Honestly,
they're all I know about season 3 is that they're rebuilding Emmons Field. Like, and aren't they still like adding like cast members. Like how can you add cast members when you filmed season 2 over a year ago? Like honestly,
I have a theory.
What I mean, I know this is not a Wheel of Time stream, even though I'm reading the Wheel of Time. And you know what? As much as I hate Picard season 3, I'm really enjoying book 3 of Wheel of Time right now. The
hell yeah, you are.
The Dragon Reborn. And
you're stealing Rafe Judkins' happiness.
He
cries himself to sleep at night.
I am okay. I am okay with stealing that happiness because it's because like he took away a lot of people's happinesses by making that first season. Like there were so many great moments that could have been adapted that he fucking didn't. And like chapter 5, the Winter Night chapter, or is it chapter 6? I forget. Eye of the World. When Rand is dragging his father. Now, is it his biological father? Well, he kind of learns that he's not his biological son.
Read and
but
find it.
But the thing is,
Salty is saying something
very
because he doesn't know that the Dragon Reborn is actually the same book as the Great Hunt. They're basically the exact same. You don't even
yeah, because they're going from one point to another point because that's just fantasy, because fantasy is for dumb people. You know, I know I'm one of them. But like fantasy is for dumb people because it's basically you're going from point A to point B, and that's it. It's a journey. It's just a dumb journey that, you know, if you like fantasy, you're an idiot. I'm sorry, but you're fucking
those
like
those were straight facts, Jacob.
Yeah, like honestly, like I got a drink. Excuse me, Nathan, take over.
Nathan is sitting there having listened to my theory of the hypothesis on the conservation of happiness. It hasn't been properly proven yet. More data analysis is necessary.
I could sum it all up and be like, you know what? Just fuck it and go back to the original stuff, and you'll be fine.
Conservation of happiness,
you
have to like flesh this out, Pips. Like honestly, like flesh out the conservation.
I actually have some math equations. If I had a whiteboard, I could paint it out. Like I said, there's an efficiency.
Dude, don't say whiteboard. Don't say whiteboard. That's problematic.
Sorry,
come on, dude.
Is that bigoted now?
It is bigoted.
No,
I mean, come on. That's backwards, dude. That's backwards thinking. Blackboard.
Apparently, you can't say field work anymore or field office because the term field reminds people of field work.
Cotton fields.
Exactly. That's legitimately the argument that was made by a university. They put it on their no-go list. Field work can't have field office. They have to be called community offices.
That's offensive.
Community
that's offensive language, dude.
Ooh,
that is offensive language. You are a horrible person if you think if you say otherwise. You know. And I don't know what I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm a dipshit.
In the chat.
I'm a dipshit from Chicago. Yeah, I'm a dipshit from Chicago, and I'm already judging you. But then again, that's what city people generally do. Urban people, we generally judge people from other parts of the country. That I'll be honest, I've never heard of Wilmington, North Carolina, until I met you, Pips. So, like, honestly, I didn't even know I didn't even know your city. I didn't even know your town existed. That's just how much of an asshole I truly am. Like
Nate's going to agree with me here that generally places like where I live and you live like people from Chicago not knowing we exist.
Yeah.
Well, I do know Columbus. I do know the Columbus area. So, well, not the area, but I know
Columbus.
I know that Columbus is the capital of Ohio, and Nathan's an important
and he's
person.
a very problematic figure. And I just
Nathan
want to remind you, you're so bigoted for
Nathan
bringing
is
up that
not
name.
a problematic figure. He is a good person. I am not a good person. Pips, Pips, you're kind of in between. You're a gray person. You're a gray man.
I'm a gray man.
Yeah, wow. You're a gray man.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know what that means because I haven't gotten that far in Wheel of Time, and I know you're probably thinking, "Wow, Drunkporeal's a fucking idiot for saying that." Like, honestly,
that's not good.
And you know what? You might be right. Yeah. You might be right. I mean, I've had too much to drink, and I'm going to drink more.
Nate, as a preacher, hearing my conservation of happiness theory is like he might be a gray man. That might be
gray man or great man. I said gray like the color.
Yeah. Gray
man, or gray like Wakizashi's tea house gray. Okay,
Is Gray a gray man?
Okay, erase that from your mind.
I didn't know Gray was a gray man. So you've already read about the gray men by a different name in the book already.
True.
So
you've also seen a gray man in the series.
Seen?
Yep.
Literally?
Yep. Well, in fair point, yes and no.
I was going to say, I'm like, I don't know that that's the case.
I mean, it is, but you didn't know it at the time.
Correct.
That is how you are truly an asshole. Take notes and report. What's that? I don't get the context.
I think he's saying that anyone who wants to be an asshole should take notes. I am displaying. I'm telling you. I'm giving you the roadmap.
I will go one step further. I did not know that place existed. Do not care, and will continue to forget. I'm losing control.
That's good.
Excuse me.
Shy, that's good. You're not welcome here.
I am.
We don't take kindly to your types around here.
Oh yes, I like just hearing that just makes me want to talk about westerns now, because that's all I've been watching nothing but a bunch of westerns lately, and you know what? I'm really enjoying them. All the old movies and everything. I still have not watched 1883, Pips. I'm sorry. I know you love 1883.
It's the entire Yellowstone franchise, I think, is very worth a watch. Is it perfect television? No, but it does something. It's pretty solid. It's pretty solid. Very, very well. Like, there's really good acting. The production's very good. Like it's a very beautiful show to watch.
Rachel Chris called it boring, so he might be right.
But the one thing that I think is, really makes it actually a show that is worth watching is that, unlike so much of what's on television these days, like, it isn't just like breaking down masculinity as like the purpose of the show. Like, there are man's men in those shows, and you see the good things about that, you see the bad things about that. You see strong women, you see weak women, you see strong men, you see weak men.
Yeah.
Like, the point of the characters is not their orientation or gender. It is them as individual humans that have motivations and complex reasons for the things that they do. So, like, it's good freaking character writing. Like, you might sit there and be like, oh, I think this is boring, which I think is crazy talk. I think that character driven stories are the stories worth watching, and it does that. Like, it is as long as there's conflict with the human heart. That's what truly matters. Trip is right. Like, it's fucking brutal sometimes. But I think the big thing that I like about it is that they're complex, real characters that are bouncing off each other. They're in conflict with each other. And so the story happens because of the interpersonal conflicts between the characters. Their competing motivations, their competing priorities. And that's actually what real life is. That's what good stories are based off of, because a good story doesn't have an artist who has like a roadmap and then just like sprinkles characters in to accomplish the plot, right? A good writer creates characters that live in a world, and those characters, they bounce off the world, they bounce off each other, and the plot happens as a result, just like real people. Like, you wake up in the morning, you have shit that you got to go do, and things happen, and you respond to them based on who you are as a person, right? Like, that's how the world works, and that's how good literature and good story writing works. And the show, all of the shows in the series, the franchise, 1883, was it 1924, and Yellowstone, all three of them do a really good job at that, I think.
Okay.
I don't know.
Nate, they're all pretty consistent, shows? Right? They're all pretty consistent by the same creator and all that. I forget his name.
They are, yeah.
I have to, like, I think I watched the first two episodes with you, Pips. And I think I fell asleep during. This.
You were pretty drunk at that point. That is true. You watched a couple episodes. You watched a couple episodes of 1883, and to be completely honest, 1883 I think is actually the slowest of the various shows.
Yeah, I've heard
the other shows have a lot more happening fairly early on. 1883, like it's kind of the old Oregon Trail video game, but like in a TV show. Yeah, and so like you have to get along the trail a little bit before like crazy shit starts happening. And like 1924 and Yellowstone, like there's freaking shootouts and like murders and just all sorts of like crazy violence and stuff like that that's going on pretty early. And there's like criminal elements. There's bribery and coercion and like all sorts of stuff going on. It's pretty good.
I like Gadfly, or sorry, did I say Gadfly? Gadfly fictions, or Gadfly fictions.
You're drunk, you silly old fool.
Okay, shut up, Pips. You don't know what you're talking about. A good story reflects those deeper elements of humanity. That is the whole purpose. The whole purpose of storytelling. Myths and legends are all about understanding the how and the why of human nature. Yeah, I totally agree. And you know what? That's why I'm a big fan of Star Trek in general. Like they've told really great stories about the human condition, and that's why I'm not happy about any of New Trek, because they just fail to live up to what they could be. I mean, there's a lot of examples of how they could do it. I mean, they don't have to be perfect. No, nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect. Nothing. And that was the big thing that now that you watch if you watch Mr. Burnett, if you watch anyone else, the Popcast guys or any of those guys that have really enjoyed Picard, and I'll be honest, I know I'm in the minority. I know I'm in the minority on this, but I'll be honest, Picard season 3, the series that's gotten so much favors, that's gotten so much support, is awful. It's an awful series. It's not good. It's not good writing. It's not good anything. And if you're even familiar with older Trek and everything, if you've watched older Trek, you should be freaking offended by what they did. They took a great villain from DS9 and they made them into they're basically cannon fodder. Have you ever seen cannon fodder? It's not a pleasant thing. I mean, oh shit.
What the hell just happened?
I don't know what he just did. So
did he
Brian,
disconnect?
No, he's still here. He probably disconnected his mic. He did disconnected his mic. Can you hear us? Give us a thumbs up if you can hear us.
He's on mute now.
He is.
So maybe if he clicks the mute button, it'll.
Here,
unmute
I'm gonna. No, I don't know what his stuff is. He's having issues. Well, hey Nate, I'll ask you the question. So on Aldan's recommendation on Twitter, I watched the first 2 episodes of The Citadel. It's a Amazon spy show with
with the guy from Game of Thrones and
with Rob Stark from Game of Thrones, and I don't know the actress that's
Jonas's wife.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah,
we're talking about Game of Thrones.
the chick from India.
But yeah, she's
quite fetching.
It's pretty well, yeah, also true. And she wears a very attractive dress in the first episode. They really featured her best assets. So the show actually it's pretty good so far. The action scenes are pretty crazy. They're over the top and ridiculous at times, but they're supposed to be the world's greatest action spy, whatever. So Post
Yeah.
Jason Bourne, spies are all, like mixed martial arts masters,
What show again?
The Citadel.
Just got released on Amazon.
Yeah.
I mean, are they as good as Jack Crusher with the shapeshifter, shapeshifters?
Oh,
no, I don't think so. I don't think quite that good.
And before Steve asks, is there any broken glass? Because we know that's the only way that it's.
There's a lot of broken glass. In fact, I was actually going to bring that up. That's how you know it's a good show. Is that in episode 1 they have a fight in a bathroom on a train, and there's a big glass window, and obviously broken glass, person gets thrown through the broken glass everywhere. So like top shelf. Really 10 of 10, would recommend the glass breaking experience.
Okay. So yeah, Steve, he's talking about the Citadel. Is that what you're saying is a shit show?
But anyway, it remains to be seen. There, it could be right now they're setting it up for like, mysterious shadow agent, like organization, kind of like, Hydra or something. They call it Manticore. Versus the Citadel, which is this like transnational stateless sort of spy agency or something like that, right? And who knows, it could just all be mystery box writing where, it doesn't turn into anything. But right now, the acting is fine for like an action kind of flick. It's not like a super great kind of character, acting sort of story, but it's fine. The action scenes are good. It's pretty well produced. So far it's interesting. So I'll probably continue to watch it. Speaking of some broken glass, though, I did see a Breaking Bad spin-off finale recently. A certain Better Call Saul kicked in a fair amount of glass in a couple different scenes, and I thought Brian might want to talk about that. A little Better Call Saul. No, he's hiding. He doesn't want to talk about it.
I'm here. I've been having mic issues. I'm sorry. Yeah, I want to hear your very insightful. What is it called? Takes? Yeah, they're called takes. Yeah,
Did you find happiness in the show?
I found a lot of happiness. I found a lot of happiness, and I think Pips is going to take it away from me. I honestly hope Pips says that the Andor is better than Better Call Saul. Please, just say it. Just say it already. Say it. Right. God damn it.
So there are six total seasons of Better Call Saul, right?
6 total seasons. There you go.
Okay.
You finished it, right?
I did. Yeah.
I was curious what I was going to ask you. I was like, hey, you haven't said anything. You haven't said anything to me about Better Call Saul. So I am really curious.
We're doing this now. We're doing this now.
You're probably waiting for the right moment to say it.
Then?
And
you passed it.
Now that I am in the best position to hear it, because
now soon.
Yeah.
Soon.
All right, I'm going to shut the fuck up and I'm going to let Pip speak. I'm going to have a donut to kind of wipe the booze off of my brain right now.
Is it a donut or more of like a Cinnabon? Are you doing? I did give you a warning.
I got a coffee roll. I got an apple for
Dunkin'
Donuts. Jesus Christ, Pip! I don't know why you got to judge me. Why are you judging me?
Whoa, that's all right.
Don't judge me.
Okay, so first five seasons, really, really, really solid.
Wow.
And like we had talked about before, right? I think
we watched a couple of it. We watched episodes 2 and 3, I believe.
Yeah, there were little things that like I was like, I didn't really like the way that they did this, but like it worked out. I know why they did it the way that they did it. I probably would have written it differently, but like it's fine, right? You're gonna have little disagreements, but the thing that they did well, and it went fine, right? So
I'm assuming you didn't like
those types of things.
I'm assuming you didn't like what they did with the. Did you? Now the whole thing was built towards them trying to ruin Howard. All right, and then they had the and then the Mike stuff. I watched the episode with you. We watched how they ended the arc of Nacho. So Nacho's arc ended. I watched it with you. I'm curious what you thought of. And I was reading about Reddit. I was on Reddit the other day. I was reading about.
Before we go too far, there are people in the chat asking that we not do spoilers. Trip said she just started season 2, doesn't want spoilers, so I'm going to try.
Come on, Trip. I mean, how this series has been out for freaking.
I just now watched
for 8
it.
years now. I mean, like season 1 came out like 2015. Like, I know. I mean, like, oh, fine.
I haven't watched an episode
I'm
of
it. I'm gonna try to do no spoilers in this. And I think I can do that. Actually, I can voice my chief complaints without any spoilers.
Okay, well, I want to hear. I'm curious
because realistically, almost all of my complaints come down to, kind of storyboarding and like cinematography decisions, kind of like director level decisions about season 6.
You didn't like a lot of cinematography? That's interesting. I want to hear this now.
So I didn't like how they saved so much of the like present day stuff until season 6, to the point where like there was like a 2 or 3 episodes in season 6 where it was almost like a different show, right? You're
talking about the Gene stuff, right? You're talking about the black and white, Gene stuff. Yeah, you're not wrong. Like even when I did the Better Call Better Call, what's it called again? Better Call whatever.
Simon. Yeah,
Better Call Simon. The Better Call Simon stuff. I'm not drunk. If you think I'm drunk, then you better get your mind checked. But
take those glasses off. Let us see your eyes. Check dilation level. Oh man, your eyes are huge. They're huge.
I don't know what you're talking about.
you look like Howard.
But Howard. But I actually agree. Like I had an issue with the episode Nippy. Episode 10. That was where it really started. Like, I think like there should have been more story to that. I felt like not a whole lot happened. Like, unlike you saw Breaking Bad, so you know how Breaking Bad kind of ended. Like, it felt like gradual. It built to an ultimate conclusion. What do you call it? Conclusion? Yeah, conclusion. And I only have 7 viewers, so I've been drunk and I've been driving people away. I'm sorry. But what was I saying? I was saying, yeah, I think Saul didn't really quite build to the ending as well as Breaking Bad did. So, and I mean, I was still okay with the ending without spoiling it. I mean, but it's just like it felt like they needed. And I mean, I was reading Reddit. Like people were like really. There were people that were really like criticizing how the series ended. And like hearing Steve talking about Picard season 3, like when people are critical, I usually listen. It's usually weird as like people have to kind of go out. Like, to me, when somebody is critical of a series, it means they were more invested than, let's say, someone that has a positive and has an entirely positive outtake in the series.
Entirely positive, yes.
Yeah, like totally positive. Like you listen to that and you're just like, okay, people, they just simply turn their brains off. But when people are critical, that means that they're not only invested, but they've noticed things that other people haven't. And I'm going to be honest, as much as I've been critical of Picard, I have not been nearly as critical as of Better Call Saul. Because as much as I want to admit, like a lot of the stuff that they showed in the series, like I could buy into, I could believe, there was enough verisimilitude for me to buy into what was going on. Now, Pips here might have a different take, and you know what? I want to hear it.
No, because so on one hand, I'm gonna say that yeah.
That was a big fucking word you threw out there, Brian, for as much as you've been drinking so far.
What do you mean?
Verisimilitude.
Well, I mean, I've been listening to Robert Myber not long enough, so so that's kind of the reason why I watched Picard season 3 in the first place. And let's just say that let's just say that series did not really gain any verisimilitude for me. I cannot rewatch the series. Like the very first scene of Picard, and I don't want to go into Picard because we're talking about Better Call Saul right now. Like the fact that we know that they're shapeshifters, spoiler alert, that those guys that go and hunt and try to shoot Beverly Crusher doesn't fucking work. Like if they were shapeshifters, and if you watch Deep Space Nine, you would know that all they need to do was turn to mush, travel on the floor, appear humanoid like right behind her, and just murder her. Just create a tentacle, strangle her, and she'd be dead. You know, like why have that firefight in the beginning? I mean, like it's stupid, and that's the tip of the iceberg. And I've been on Twitter, and I know Terry Vitales probably hates my fucking guts for saying all this, but it's true. It's not good. It's not good writing, and like, yeah, early Trek had some issues. I mean, I've had debates with a lot of people, you know, Brett or Grayson, whatever you call him. On and you know, I like having conversations with people that disagree with me, because we, like as Pips pointed out in earlier streams, we learn from people that we disagree with, or we disagree with. You know, we kind of gather an insight. You know, we become better people. But I can't rewatch season 3. Like it is just it's that dumb. And I know the reason why you guys watch is because I watched it. And I feel sad now. I feel bad for Steve. I had him watch every episode with me. We recorded every episode. We recorded our reactions to every episode, because I'm not gonna even say we've been lied to. I mean, a lot of people like season 3. I know I'm in the minority, just like I like a lot of people like Breath of the Wild, and I'm not a fan of Breath of the Wild. It's the same fucking deal. But I can actually tell you why I don't care for. I can actually tell you why I don't care for these things. I mean, it's just I feel like a fucking idiot right now, just ranting.
No, I just want to say you bring it up that you're in the minority. Well, you know what we learned from a movie, when there's that minority report, you gotta go with the minority opinion, because that's the smart one.
Yeah,
the other two are idiots. The minority one is smart. Yeah, it's also the basis of most Hollywood's casting.
There's an old saying that the unanimous agreement of a group of experts is 100% invariably wrong.
I don't know, how many experts did we consult on that piece of wisdom?
Wait, why am I hearing this? Why am I hearing some?
I'm hearing a little bit of that.
Why am I hearing static?
Somebody's got a phone going next to it.
Nathan, are you okay, dude? Like, are you?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Self-checked.
All right. I mean, like, I'm just like, this is like old school TV.
Let's get back to so Better Call Saul here, right? So you asked my opinion on it. So I'm gonna say a couple things. One, the resolution that they gave us in the present day, or kind of the future, based on like the black and white, black and white. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So the resolution of all of that stuff, I don't actually know that I think that it was such a good resolution that it warranted them telling that story in the margins of the previous 5 seasons, and especially not like a third of the final season. Like I honestly think the show might have been better if they literally cut all of that.
What do you mean? All right, can you elaborate? I'm trying to understand.
Like all of the black and white stuff is telling a separate story in parallel, right? And for the first 5 seasons, it was hinting at some stuff, and it was kind of interesting, and you were curious how it was going to pay off. And it didn't pay off in a way.
Yeah, the first episode, the first scene of the first episode, the first 5 seasons, first 5 seasons showed post Breaking Bad stuff, and they went with a black and white color palette. Now, a lot of things that I mean, I thought was going to happen. A lot of other fans, what was going to happen was it was going to eventually go back to color. Like it was going we thought it was like Saul Goodman's life was going to go back to color once he got out of his his Gene Takovich type of life that he's in, because he's in, let's just say he's in a dead end life. He goes from being the biggest attorney in New Mexico. Spoiler alert from Breaking Bad to being a Cinnabon manager in Omaha, Nebraska. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a Cinnabon manager. If you're listening to this podcast, if you're listening to the stream and you're a Cinnabon manager, there's no offense right here. But let's just say that it feels like, compared to being a lawyer for one of the biggest drug lords in the entire country, in this case Walter White, it's a shit life. It's a shit life. Every day is just it's the same damn thing. It was very interesting. It was very interesting wondering what was going to happen. That was part of the drawbreak of Better Call Saul. I mean, it's not only a prequel, but it's also an epilogue to Breaking Bad. There were unanswered questions, like what ultimately happens to Saul Goodman, because Saul Goodman basically goes into hiding. I mean, I'm spoiling the series. I'm spoiling what happens to him, but he goes into hiding. Whereas a lot of the characters in the series, well, they meet certain ends. I won't say how, but they do. So part of the season, part of the first 5 seasons was them, we're getting insight into what his life is like after Breaking Bad, and they show it in a beautifully black and white sequence. And I swear to God, fucking Picard kind of steals that by using I forget the name of the band, the 50s group that they use the music from, but they use the same people, and we're hearing old classic music, and we're just seeing the life of Saul Goodman as Gene Takovich. And as much as I like to see, as much as I like to say that they kind of concluded it, but I think there should have been more. They should have added more episodes to flesh that out further. I felt the final episode. I felt the final episode kind of just ended really quickly. There should have been more. There should have been more to it.
Yeah, I disagree with you. I think that if so, my initial perception watching the first 5 seasons, right, was that the two storylines were going to meet, right? That the prequel was going to catch up to the epilogue, right? And so had they given us more seasons, right? They would have had to give us a season 7, maybe even a season 8 to, I think, tie that together sufficiently to pay off from that perspective, right? And so that's why I'm left thinking that I feel like season 6 put mostly a good end on the finale of the pre-Breaking Bad stuff. That told a satisfying story, got mostly to a good end. I maybe would have liked to see them connected. I probably would have liked to see the show end with Saul meeting Walter White, right? I think that's probably where the show should have ended.
So you're talking about the episode. You're talking about the episode Fun and Games. That was I'm
talking about the whole show. I'm talking about the entire series as a concept.
Well, you said the prequel. So you said the prequel stuff. So Fun and Games was was episode 9. That was the prequel stuff. So let's just say a bunch of shit happens at the end of episode 7, which was the first half. So they split Better Call Saul final season into 2 parts, kind of like they did.
It felt like it, honestly. I feel like they were probably, unlike any of the previous seasons where I was just kind of watching episodes and oh, this is good the whole time I was engaged, I found myself frequently wondering how many more freaking episodes of this are there? Which is why I can tell you, I don't think that they successfully brought the show to a conclusion that was satisfying and delivered on the promises that had been made beforehand. I think that the actual ending was totally wrong. Revisiting my idea that sometimes the villain should win. He shouldn't have gone. The scene where he goes back into the courtroom in Albuquerque, that scene shouldn't have happened.
So you think that
the redemption and him like, oh, my brother Chuck and all this shit, none of that should have happened. It was out of character.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it was out of character. So, like, I don't know if that was out of character because, like, you know, that was something that he was dealing with since the 4th season. Like, once his brother died, like, he just completely kind of cut himself off from everything. But he from his brother, from everything, and heck, he even lied to the board to get his license back, saying, you know, hey, like he lied to the board saying how important his brother was to him, and because his brother was a rock star in the law in Albuquerque law, in the world of Albuquerque law.
And that's right. Exactly my point, is that he had some guilt, he had some remorse, and then he flipped it. He went past it and he went full dark side, right? And so him to kind of wishy-washy at the end and try and, you know, work. I mean, he did that. Because I deserved this.
He did that. He did that for the sake of. I mean, he did that for the sake of Kim, because she would have been sued to oblivion.
He didn't have to. He could.
He have to, but like, you know, I think in some part of his heart, he still cared about her. And he didn't want her. He didn't want her
to redeem his character. Them trying to show that he was still empathetic.
Well, I mean, they showed it throughout the series. Like, he cared about his brother. Like, he cared. He took care. I mean, the final episode still showed it. He still cared about his brother. Like, he would do things. His brother's like, "Why are you doing this? Why are you helping?" I don't want. He's like, "I don't want." He's like, "I don't really want your help." And he helped him anyways. I don't know why he did it. It's part of it was, and he did it from the very first episode.
I know that they tried to remind us of all that, but that was so far down the road. He did so much worse stuff from that point on. That, like I said, I wanted him to he
still cared about his brother. He went and visited his brother after season 3, after the entire chicanery hearing happened. He still went and saw his brother, and and his brother said,
and that was
really, you don't mean much.
10 years ago,
you don't mean much to me.
In Breaking Bad, you're forgetting that he did everything in Better Call Saul. So he had seasons 5 and then season 6 of Better Call Saul, where he had a few months. He had a few full dark side in Breaking Bad.
He had a few months. I mean, all I can say is, and this might not be a great counter to what you're saying, but he had a few months to think about it. I mean, he's been busy. He's been busy the entire time. He hasn't thought about it. That's the thing that the series establishes, that he doesn't think about these things. That's the problem. That was the problem in the first place.
That's what
he had time to think about it, and I mean, for me, it's believable. I'm not saying that it's perfect. There was a lot of things that probably could have paid off better. And Pips, I'm not even going to go as far as say you're wrong. You are not wrong. I mean, the series is not perfect. But then again, I'm repeating what Robert Meyer Burnett said about Picard season 3.
I know.
So I feel like a fucking dumbass right now.
I know what you're saying. I know that that's what they wanted to sell you, and I'm telling you that they shouldn't have tried to sell that. That's not the ending that his character was going towards. That's not the ending that his character should have gotten.
Did you say what he should have gotten? I mean, if he did, I apologize for not paying attention.
Oh, his internet froze on him.
No, I'm still here.
You're still there.
The
AMC
lost the last season, where the last season was, honestly, it was kind of boring. It was kind of boring, and it didn't deliver on the promise of all of those black and white scenes in the first 5 seasons were some of the best, most interesting scenes, and you were like, what is going on in this thing? Like, there's something big going on over here. And then it just petered out into the most mundane sort of
I'll be honest. I was surprised how the beginning of season 6. Now I was watching. I mean, me and Steve have been covering Better Call Saul. We were very surprised, like the fact that the season did not begin with a Gene sequence, and we actually got a freaking we got something different. We got a glimpse into we got a colorful glimpse into the future. We actually got to see Saul Goodman's house. We didn't get to see Saul Goodman's house in the first place, so we got to see that, and we got to see what happened after he got, after he fled, like what the authorities did with his property in the first place. I thought that was very interesting, but like you said, I was not particularly happy with. Even though I made a video saying why I love the Better Call Saul finale, I feel like a fucking idiot now. Because I mean, it's not perfect. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but
no, but
still watch the video. It's got 300 views. Watch the video.
What you guys are missing though is the tie-in. The most important lesson of all is that what we've all learned from Looney Tunes is that when you get to Albuquerque, you gotta make the left-hand turn.
Oh, should have made that left turn at Albuquerque.
Or as Weird Al Yankovic would say, it's Albuquerque. A L L B B. Kirky.
As I walk through the valley where I harvest my grain, I take a look at my wife and realize she's very plain. But
that's just perfect for an Amish
like me.
We
shun things like electricity.
Right. Okay, real quick. Let's go back. All right, describe Angel's Envy there, Pips.
Okay, yep. Hey, drinking some Angel's Envy. Angel's
I could have bought some.
Angel's Envy is, from recollection before I look at the bottle here, and from the taste profile, it is a rye forward, but not exclusively or not rye heavy mash. So it's not it's not a 49% rye bourbon or like that. It's it's probably like a 15-20% rye. So it's a little more rye heavy than some mashes, but it's not crazy. So you get some of the good warmth, a little bit of the spice from the rye. But it's still mostly the sweetness from the corn, the syrup, right? And in general, Angel's Envy, I would say, is just like super smooth. Like it is very, very smooth. There is literally nothing to not like about Angel's Envy. Like you taste it and you feel warm, you feel smooth. It's sweet on the palate. There's some spice. There's probably some of the more kind of like syrupy, kind of like malty sweetness, not the saccharin kind of sugary sweetness. It's a great bourbon. It is, I would say Angel's Envy is approaching one of the like quintessential examples of bourbon. Like if you are to think of bourbon in your mind, Angel's Envy, Woodford Reserve, a weedier bourbon, but your makers probably 40, is it 46 or 47 is also like just a very really good example of a bourbon, a weedier one, but Angel's Envy is right there. So.
Yeah. Makers. I toured both Makers and Angel's Envy back in January. And Angel's Envy is just phenomenal. They've only got two blends. They've got their regular and they've got a $99 bottle of their rye.
Yeah, the rye is phenomenal.
So good. My. It's like drinking toasted marshmallows over a campfire. It is freaking delicious.
Angel's Envy?
Their rye. Their rye, because they take their rye. Their rye they actually ship from MGP in Indiana because they don't have the facilities to process all the rye at the moment. But they get their rye in, and then they will empty it and finish it in Caribbean rum casks.
It's expensive, the Angel's Envy. I was like, well, it was like $90. It was like $90 when I went to that.
The rye is $90 to $100. The bourbon that Pips is drinking will run you about $45-$55.
Yeah, it's about $45-$50. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a little more than Woodford.
Why is the rye so expensive?
$40.
Why is the Angel's
Rye's
Envy rye
expensive.
so expensive?
Yeah, rye
Rye
is a
grain's
more expensive
expensive.
grain, right? So think about it. Corn in the U.S. is heavily subsidized. Corn is dirt cheap, right? So,
Yeah.
so if you're making, bourbon 51% corn, if you're making most bourbon mashes are going to be like 60 or 70% corn, and then the other 30% is going to be a blend of whatever their kind of proprietal mash is, typically rye, wheat, barley. Right?
Yeah.
And
The
some
rye,
of them go up. Some of them go up to 100% corn. There's a lot of them are in even like the 80 to 85%. So just cheap. Corn is so cheap. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But Angel's Envy is, both the regular bourbon and the rye are very, very drinkable, very, very good bourbons. Bourbon.
Yes,
and
Trip.
rye.
We're talking about corn subsidies because we're an intellectual channel. That's what we talk
Right.
about. We talk about TV shows. We talk about the economy. We talk about politics. We're about to talk about the Ukraine conflict. We're about to be.
No, we're not going to talk about. Oh no. We're not.
Political.
We are not talking. We are not talking about the
Drunkporeal
Ukraine conflict.
Demonetized for sure.
No,
We're gonna get banned off of YouTube.
We are not going to be demonetized. This is a good channel. This is a non-political channel. And Pips, I'm drunk, so excuse me.
The opinion of the Pips and the channel and the chat do not represent the opinion of the Nerdporeal life form,
or the Drunkporeal.
Or the Drunkporeal.
The Drunkporeal doesn't exist. I know what you're talking about.
He's a
my acid doesn't.
I don't know what Nathan. You sometimes,
I don't know what you mean.
Sometimes you speak of things that don't exist. Like it's just it's a disease. It happens. It happens to most people on social media. It's a social media thing. So, nothing.
Lady Balefire.
I don't know what you mean.
Lady Balefire, I would never. I would only ever talk about the military-industrial congressional complex. I would never leave out the worst offender.
I like how he says congressional complex instead of industrial complex because
it's both. It's military-industrial congressional complex. It's a foursome.
I'm an urban asshole, and that's just simply a conspiracy.
It's you, the voter,
it's a conspiracy
and then the three of them
theory. That is a conspiracy theory that just has no weight. And you guys are all toxic, and you guys are all terrible people. I'm a good person because I'm from the city. What did I just say? Did I say something? Did I say something?
Clip that. Somebody.
No.
I'm a good person.
Do not clip anything I said because I don't remember what I said. I think I need to drink more. So here we go.
So, Pips, have you had Cooper's Craft yet?
I have had Cooper's a real long time ago. I don't have any on my shelf right now, but I've had some in the past. I don't remember it particularly well, but I recognize the bottle when you held it up.
Yeah,
I'm curious if they had it. I'm curious if they had the liquor store I went to today. I'll have to look.
What, Cooper's?
Yeah, Cooper's.
Yeah, I would recommend it. It's this is the first bottle that I've had of it, and as you can see, I've only recently just opened it up. But
what does it say again? Is that bourbon?
Yeah, just a straight Kentucky bourbon, 100 proof. So it's a.
What makes a Kentucky bourbon as opposed to any other bourbon?
Just saying, we have to point out everyone who is interested. Trip does not drink crappy beer. She only drinks Bud Light.
I cannot comment on that. Like the views of the Pips does not represent the views of the Nerdporeal or the chat or anybody. So Bud Light is garbage anyways. So just leave that out of your mind. Don't drink Bud Light. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you drink Bud Light. I'm not telling you. You can drink whatever you want. You can drink whatever you want because you know what? This is a free country. The United States of America. We have a Bill of Rights for a reason.
Clydesdales. They replaced the Clydesdales with My Little Pony.
I felt. What's funny is I was watching Sisu today, and something happened in that movie, and I thought about you, Pips, and I was like, oh, Pips is probably not gonna like this movie. It's a great revenge movie. It's one of those movies. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's It's so fucking batshit crazy, that movie. It's a revenge tale. It's a beautiful one. It's kind of like a Tarantino spaghetti western type of deal, but it takes place during what's that World War called? Yeah, World War II. It takes place during World War II in Finland, and it's a short movie. It's 90 minutes. Unlike a Tarantino movie, which is like 3 fucking hours, double the time. It's a 90-minute movie, but yet they still split that movie into chapters. And it just gets to the point every fucking time. And like the main character is I'll say this, like the main character is just awesome. And it gets to a point where you kind of wondering who is the good guy, who is the bad guy. It's that type of deal. So I mean, if you like a good revenge tale, if you like good spaghetti western, if you like bad guys being bad guys and bad guys being smart about being bad guys, like the Nazis in this movie, they were actually not stupid, unlike Picard season 3, unlike Vatic and the Shrike. Like the Vatic and the Shrike was a fucking waste of time. Like they were just the ship was just there just to be shot and blown up, you know. Like once Vatic was dead, then they're like, okay, let's shoot the ship with torpedoes and let's just blow it up. You know why? Because no one is over there right now taking command. No one is
she didn't even have a number 2.
She had a number 2. The number 2 was with her. The number 2 was like 7 feet tall, and he was freaking Michael. He was like freaking Michael Myers. They shoot him, he gets back up, kills or takes Captain Dipshit from Chicago, not me, but another dipshit from Chicago, hostage. And I swear to fucking God, like that Brian, series,
tell me
like,
what you
like,
think.
like that series, like why don't you just repurpose Star Trek? I would rather have you do what the TNG films did. Repurpose Star Trek. Don't repurpose Star Wars. Don't repurpose Walking Dead. Don't repurpose Game of Thrones. Repurpose Star Trek. You know, Star Trek, you know, the show that's been, you know, the series that's been around for 50 or it's going to be 60 years now.
Hey, Brian,
fucking seriously, like, why can't you repurpose Star Trek? Why are you offended? Are you, I mean, like, honestly, like what is going on? Like, why are you ashamed of your past? Why? Because Star Trek was smart, because Star Trek decided, you know, wanted to make you think that Star Trek didn't always have action in every single scene. What the hell is going on with you? Why do you feel this way? I mean, Terry Matalis, you worked on Star Trek. I mean, I'm sure you're listening to this stream right now. You worked on Voyager. You worked on DS9. You wrote Enterprise episodes. You wrote 2 episodes, two great fucking episodes from season 3. What is up with this? What is up with this season 3? What is up with the fact that, like, there's no consistency whatsoever? The fact that you had to employ a mystery box tactic. The fact that we didn't know who these villains were that were hunting Beverly Crusher in the beginning of the series. And then we learned that they're shapeshifters from DS9. But the thing is, we know what the shapeshifters are capable of from DS9. They don't have to have firefights with you. They think themselves gods. Like, they have Jem'Hadar doing the fighting for them. Like, all they have to do is turn the mush, move along the floor, materialize as humans, and just fucking, like, throw a tentacle and strangle the fucking shit out of you. And then that's how you can take care of Beverly Crusher at the end, at the beginning of season 1 or the beginning of episode 1 of Picard. Like the whole idea of having a firefight against them, the whole idea of having Raffi fighting with a sword against them. Like, what the hell is this? Like, this is the stupidest shit I've ever seen. And I know Terry Matalis probably hates my guts for being as critical as I am about this, but I mean, this is not rewatchable shit. Like, I can rewatch seasons 1 and 2 of Picard. I can rewatch fucking Star Trek Nemesis and Star Trek Generations, and those movies had fucking problems. Like, Star Trek Generations was like the Alien 3 of the episode Family. If you remember Family, that was the part 3 of Best of Both Worlds. That was the episode that takes place right after Picard recovers from being taken away by the Borg. And that was a great fucking episode. because it fleshed out Picard. It fleshed out the fact that he had a family, that he had people, that he had a nephew that wanted to be just like him. And I dropped my mouse, but that's not important right now. But the fact is, in Generations, they killed him off because they wanted to make him long for something. They wanted him to long for family when he went into the Nexus. And that's why the Nexus, and Shy, don't laugh at me. Don't fucking laugh at me. I'm like, honestly, like I might have had too much to drink, but seriously, like that you don't laugh at Drunkporeal. Like it's just like, yeah, I think that highly of myself. But
Right.
what was I saying?
Now
What
drunk.
was I saying? Oh fuck me. But
All right, while
the
you
thing
have
is,
a pause
Picard
in the
season
rant
3
here, I got a question
they could have, and I've
No
said this to
pause.
Steve, Prophet of the Dragon, they could have followed up on Picard, or they could have followed up on family. They could have found a way to brought back Rene Picard, Jean-Luc Picard's nephew, Captain Picard's nephew, because he was killed off screen in Generations. They could have found a way to bring him back, bring Alexander back. Alexander is the son of Worf. Bring those two back, and then have them tie into the next generation after the next generation. And I think that would have been a great send off. You know, they would have had the crew would have come back together, fought a villain that, or not even a villain, like they could have just went out and dealt with a menace to Earth, and it didn't even have to be a menace to Earth. It could have been something that we didn't understand. It could have been something that we could have, that could have fallen under the exploring strange new worlds, seeking out new life and new civilization, so boldly going where no man has gone before. That is what Star Trek is about. That's what Gene Roddenberry created in the first place, and that's what the motion picture was. So why not create something like the motion picture? I mean, there was a lot of room for that, but then again, you need to have people that are, you need to have smart writers to do this shit. You need to have people that and I'm getting distracted by the chat right now, so I'll let Pips take over.
Well, yeah.
I do have an important question to ask. The important question is this. What was the most ridiculous thing about Picard season 3? Was it the portal gun weapon and the alien shapeshifter mixed with the Borg? Or was it, let me finish the question. Was it the fact that, and I know that you've observed present day up close, so you should be an expert on this, or was it the fact that Chicago still exists at this point in the future for there to be a dipshit from Chicago? To me, that was world breaking. I was like, that city burned to the ground just like a century and a half ago. No way.
No way. I agree. I totally agree with
zero
that.
chance. It was the worst Star Trek writing that has ever happened is when they were like, yeah, Chicago survived the Great Plague. Bullshit.
Right. So in a world where phasers exist and your choice of weapon is a sword, makes no sense whatsoever. It is the exact same reason why samurais aren't a threat anymore.
Except for Worf, because like swords are cooler.
Right. You know,
swords are more fun.
Oh, that and the enemy that's attacking you doesn't want to sit there and get involved in a chase and not shoot you while you're running away. What is that more double oaked?
I think so.
No, it's Four Roses. So here you go. Four
Roses. He's liking the Four Roses.
He's liking the Four Roses. Here.
Why are you talking about me like I'm in the third person? I'm right here. You know, you don't have to talk. You don't have to talk about me like I'm not there. You know, maybe technically I'm not there, but and I'm spilling this shit on myself.
You know, generally other people do refer to you in the third person. That's actually the appropriate way to refer to you. It's weird when you refer to you in the third person. but we're supposed to refer to you in the third person.
Oh, you're not wrong,
Drunkporeal
Pips.
is,
You're not wrong, Pips at all.
he's forgetting his grammar over there. It's
I know,
probably
Pips,
Chicago.
Amanda Manethrin agrees with you.
This is a good thing I put my sunglasses on because I can't show my true. I can't show my true. I don't know what am I talking about?
There you go, Trip. We talked about corn subsidies. We talked about conjugation. We've
Conjugation. We're not talking. We're not talking language now.
Yeah, we're getting
verbs
all the
and
stuff.
verbs and
What
shit.
are you drinking over there though now, Nate? It looks like you've switched to something nice.
I'm still in the Cooper's Craft at the moment.
Okay.
I'm about to finish it.
I saw you swirling it, and I thought maybe you were getting a taste of something new, but still enjoying the same. Okay.
I constantly.
I do like your Glencairn over there. I should have grabbed mine. The nose on it is just too perfect.
I love drinking out of these. I've got a crystal one up in that little gray case right there.
Ooh.
But, it's
yes. Who would have thought? Nate over there just fancy AF.
I know. Well, yeah, in my garage, which is messy AF. I mean, clearly, look how organized my garage is.
You took down never mind. I thought you took down the Anheuser-Busch sign, but I still see it in the top corner. You got to pan your camera a little bit, man.
Yeah.
You gotta hide that.
No. That is
Amanda
old school
Manethrin
Budweiser from my dad's house.
Sponsored by Anheuser-Busch. You guys saw it here first. He's about to come out next week. He's officially a brand ambassador.
I'm going to be the bearded lady. That way you all can look at me and say, "Get back here, you fat bearded bitch."
Who are you supposed to be? I'm the bearded lady.
One of the best movies of all time. Yeah. Oh boy, now Trip's asking me to give it to her raw. Wow, that's us.
Oh no, Pip. Oh no.
We don't want to hear about all that self-insertion stuff there, Trip.
Yeah, Trip can't handle that. That's too much for Trip. You shouldn't indulge her on that one. Then she'll be up all night. It'll
She'll be going back to her glass for more of that. What was that cream bourbon stuff she was drinking?
Oh boy.
Kahlua.
I don't know if I can drink anymore. I freaking.
Lots.
I'm not gonna admit anything, but I think I feel a certain way. I don't know what it is.
No, you feel a certain way. That's nice.
Is it like Legolas?
No. I feel more like Gimli.
All right, Brian. Here, just give us one for old time's sake. I just want you just arms out, close your eyes, and just do just a little, just give us one of these,
Give us one what?
Yeah, touch your nose, close your eyes, touch your nose. What? No. From full extension, you got to go extension. You got to go in.
More like
you guys saw it. You guys saw it. Apparently, Trip is pointing out that she doesn't think that I'm a biologist. That's actually wrong. Actually, in fact, a scientist.
Maybe it's a good thing I did put Pips as the co-host because I'm not doing shit right now.
Hey,
that was a good call.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here. Ooh. Okay,
I mean, I thought. New riff. Oh, let's see. What does it say? Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey.
New riff is not one that I've ever had. So I want to hear the tasting notes on this one.
So this is a bottled in bond. This is their entry level bourbon. I did not get the single barrel.
Okay.
Because I was too cheap to fork over the extra $10. That'll be the next one.
So good enough that you're going to go back to it. You're going to go back and try their other offering.
Yeah, I think so. It's a good bourbon on its own, and I think it's a $40 bottle, so it's not too badly priced. And previous bourbons that I've had, I think my olfactories are destroyed at the moment.
Okay.
But it does have a good flavor. It's got a nice, good Kentucky hug. That
I like
tends
the
to
Kentucky
actually,
hug. That's
yeah, but it tends to bite
What
a
makes the Kentucky
little
hug?
rougher. It's that nice.
everyone likes a Kentucky hug. You know,
I don't know what that is. Like, I'm sorry to interrupt. I know you were
that
talking about it.
spreading warmth that you get in
Yeah.
your upper chest.
That's a Kentucky hug.
That's a Kentucky
Yeah.
hug.
All right, then I've got plenty of those.
When
Yeah,
you
but
drink a
it's-
nice bourbon and you just
Wow.
feel that spreading warmth, and you just feel like, you know, your grandma just took you in a big old hug, told you everything's gonna be
It's
okay.
been a while. Like it's been 2 decades since
That's
I've talked to my grandmother. So it's been a while for me. So
Well, you know what? You just need to get yourself a Kentucky hug. It's as good as.
I am.
So
I'm
this one,
really feeling it right now. Sorry.
So this one, like the first couple sips that you get with it, it tends to get through the hug fairly quickly and then kind of bite at the end. So it gets docked a little bit with that, but the overall flavors are good. I would say Cooper's Craft is a better one. I definitely save the better bourbons with the 101 and the Angel.
You didn't hear that. I don't know what you're thinking.
But the Rare Breed and the 101 are probably my two favorites. Cooper's Craft is really good. It's got a very unique kind of peppery.
Does it have some barley in that mash? Then that's typically you get the peppery notes on some barley mash.
Yeah, you get it's a barley and rye and corn mash bill.
There you go.
No wheat, thank God. I am not a wheater.
I agree.
Mark.
It's
Maker's Mark
is I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. Like it just it's
Maker's. What's wrong with wheat?
Wheats. So this is one of the things.
In my mind, it's just weak.
Well, so one of the things that I learned, like when we were doing the tour at Buffalo Trace, when people get that real burning kind of sensation that people typically tend to think is a rye, it's actually the wheat that does that in a blend. And so, but it's either most companies they'll have corn and they'll have barley in their mash, and they'll have either rye or wheat. They typically don't put both in there. So you either have a low rye or a high rye bourbon, or you'll replace rye with wheat, and that's what Maker's Mark. They're all their blends are all wheat, and it just goes. It bypasses the hug and gives me like a heartburn type of sensation that I am not a fan.
So it's interesting because I've never associated a burn with rye. To me, spiciness is kind of how I taste rye, right? So so peppery is the barley, spice is kind of the rye, and then for me, wheat is like when I drink a wheated bourbon, or just a wheat whiskey in general. So like a higher wheat content whiskey. I describe that as like it tastes empty, like there's like a hole in the palate where like you get the sweetness from the corn, and then there's like nothing there. Like there's supposed to be a taste, and it feels empty, and that's how I feel with wheat bourbons or wheat whiskeys.
Yeah.
Like I drink Makers, and like it. I taste the sweetness from the corn, and then it just ends. There's no back end kind of, that warming sort of flavor that you get from the pepper or the spice or those other things. It just doesn't happen for me. So
yeah, and it just grips too low, and I just kind of every time, like when we toured there, they set before us at the tasting at the end. They set before us like 5 different glasses of their different bourbons that they have, and like so you see the pour that I have in this. So if you drop the pour down to here, that's what they gave us in each glass, and this is a tour that we paid for, and so we barely it was barely enough for a sip. And even that little amount that they gave us on each one of those, whether it was their barrel strength stuff or just their normal stuff, every single one of them, I drank it and it was like, it just did not feel good. And so I'm not typically a fan of wheaters, although I will say Weller for Buffalo Trace is a wheat, and I still get that hit, but it's nowhere near as bad as what Maker's Mark does.
Okay. Well,
it's been 2 hours already. It's already been 2 hours.
We talked about Better Call Saul. We decided that Brian has strong opinions about Better Call Saul, and he doesn't want to hear what I have to say.
Well, how would you? Okay, I want to know. Maybe you already said it, but I know you already said it. But how would you have preferred it to end? I want to know.
So without spoilers,
the credits.
When they did the negotiation.
Which negotiation?
When they negotiated the settlement, right? So they negotiated the settlement, and he gave his little monologue, and then they're like, "Do you think a jury's going to buy that?" And he was like, "All I need is one." And then they came back with the settlement deal. I think the next time we should have seen him in the present day story should have been him getting out of prison. I think that we should have seen him run away from his past, run away from his involvement, and then we see his modern story. He rediscovers the con. He rediscovers being a con man, and then he freaking sells it better than he's ever sold it before, and he gets away with it. So right? I think that he should have gotten away with it. Oh, apparently the strength of my arguments caused him to flee the stream. He was so.
It's either that or he passed out on the exit button.
he just there and just went like. There you go. Drunkporeal died. There you go. That's we'll text him. We'll text him real quick. We'll ask him if he's all right. We'll see. Hey buddy, how's it going? How are you?
What's the line from Billy Madison? Did you fall asleep or did you pass out?
Hey, he's back. He's back with us. He's back with us. His mic's dead though.
Here's the last part. You said that Saul should never been redeemed and all that. He should have been even more of even better.
So in my mind, right, the sort of contemporary story was him trying to live a quiet life. And then rediscovering that that's just not who he is. He rediscovers the con, and then the whole thing with the dude who's got cancer and the way he deals with that situation. That's the reason I don't think they sold it. He goes from that to then showing remorse and selling himself out to save somebody else. No, absolutely not. No, the modern story was supposed to show that his run with Walter White, he went dark side, and he was trying to hide it. He was trying to pretend to be a sheep, but at this point in the story, he's a freaking wolf. And you see the plea deal bargain, and that's where he pretends to be the sheep. He plays the sheep, and
Yeah.
then mask off, and he's like, all the better to freaking eat you with, you know, and like yeah, that's it. That's it. And that's how the show should have gone out. And I think that's the direction that they were going. That seems like that was the direction they were going. And then they tried to like water it down. They tried to like kind of backstep away from that. And it was just like, have the cojones to just have the ugly thing happen, right? The good guy doesn't always win. The system doesn't always get his man. And like, that's the story of Breaking Bad, right? Like, so.
I mean, Breaking Bad basically, I mean, like, crime doesn't pay. That, I mean, that's what Breaking Bad was.
But sometimes it does.
Pretty much.
But sometimes it does.
I mean, it like
Breaking
he lost.
Bad
I mean, he lost everything. So the only thing that was left for him to do was the thing that he set out that he set out to do in the first place. Yeah, and that was to have money for his family after the fact that he died because he had cancer. So I mean, I was happy with Breaking Bad's ending, and I mean.
Breaking Bad did have a great ending, but he had cancer, so it was always an end date on his plan, right? So, he wanted to get more, fell out with his family along the way, and this, that, and the other thing. But ultimately, he won. He ultimately won. Yeah.
He ultimately got what he wanted and everything. We didn't quite know what Jimmy wanted, but Jimmy wanted to, what did he want? I forget. I'm drunk. I'm drinking.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Your myth is making an appearance.
Yeah, it's nothing but a myth. So if you think I'm projecting, you're wrong. I never project. And my sunglasses are, shielding me from everything. Cloaking devices take 5 minutes to offload from Klingon ships and install to other starships. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
They were talking about something about cloaking devices earlier, so I said it takes no time at all to have it loaded up.
All you gotta do is you just have to find an old ship from Picard season 3 from I think it was Star Trek 4. The episode with the Star Trek 4 had the they renamed the Klingon ship from Star Trek 3 the HMS Bounty, and then they just stole the cloaking device, and that's what the cloaking device was that they used on the Titan. Oh, I'm sorry. The Enterprise G. The Enterprise G. Excuse me. Yeah, the unearned fucking title, like everything else in that series.
Well, the that, and I mean, it's really easy to set up in your own Federation starship because you just need to find the USB port or something like that. Cause... Did
you see the connection between the first 8 episodes, which had the shapeshifters, and all of a sudden we find out what Jack's issue is. It's the fucking Borg the entire time. Yeah. The Borg. Remember the Borg? The ones that assimilate people. Remember them?
I love the fact that they were hiding out in Jupiter's eye.
The whole fucking time. The whole fucking time. That entire red thing that me and Steve thought was the upside down from Stranger Things. That was actually the red eye of Jupiter. So if you didn't buy that, fuck you.
I know.
If you didn't like this, if you didn't like Picard season 3, fuck you.
Who was it?
Steve, you ruined it for me. I couldn't
Big
enjoy
Red,
it.
And you didn't like Picard season 3. Fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, and Pips, you're just as bad because you spread the same shit into my brain. You spread these doubts. You said it was bad and everything, but yet you defend shows like Andor, and I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but I'm like seriously, you ruined my Picard experience too. Even though I was
little old me.
Yeah, little old you. You, Steve, everybody, my friend told me my stream was an echo chamber. Everybody agree with us saying that it was a bad show, but that it was actually a good show in the first place, and that I'm just an idiot, and I'm just a horrible person for for being critical of a series, because nowadays, if you're critical of a series, people are going to gaslight the shit out of you. So if you're gonna be critical of something, be ready for a lot of gaslight. I mean,
well, I was listening to
project their shit onto you like it's going out of style. So don't ever feel like you're alone when you feel a certain way about a certain series.
Yeah.
And a lot of Star Trek
is
feeling that way too. I mean, it's not the same fucking thing. Star Trek used to make you think. Star Trek got me, my dumb ass, interested into the arts, into higher brow, literature, entertainment. I would have never fucking been interested in fucking Moby Dick if I've never seen The Wrath of Khan. Same with a Tale of Two Cities, which is the other novel that they reference in that movie. But like, there's a lot of things that freaking Star Trek makes things that seem boring that you learned about in school actually interesting and an essential part of the human condition. And something that I'm very interested in is the human condition. And then I felt early Star Trek really played upon that brilliantly. You had TNG, you had DS9, heck, even Voyager and Enterprise even had their entertaining moments. They even those shows still had some oomph and everything. So sorry, I'm being an asshole right now. So
no, Trip just coming off the top rope with.
Moby Dick. Is if you watch All in the Family, Mopey with a P, Moby Dick, the great white dingbat. As Archie Bunker always used to say.
So I was watching Night's Watch, listening to it while I was working earlier today, and he was gushing about it. I mean, just how much fun.
Wait, who changed my name? Fuck off! I have to change it now. It's not my name. It's Brian. Jesus Christ! Seriously, I fucking did that.
But
Ips.
But
take away your
was
privileges.
He was sitting there gushing about the show, and then he said like when they're sitting there flying through the Borg cube in the big freaking huge Enterprise ship, and they're sitting there making all these motions like, well, but Data's the only one that could fly this, so it makes it.
Data doesn't fucking pilot. That's the thing. If you've watched TNG, Data is the operations officer. He's not.
I can do it. I can do it.
You know who was the pilot in season 1? Geordi. Before he was the chief engineer, they didn't even have a chief engineer as part of the cast. Geordi was the pilot. He was the helmsman, the Khan of TNG. So the fact that Data is piloting it, I wanted to think that Terry Matalas, like everything I've learned about him, I thought he was a big TNG fan. Like he hated Generations. That's why he showed Kirk's body, which is I don't think is a good idea because spoilers. But like
pointless fan service.
I thought Matalas knew what he was doing going into this. Like not only because Robert Meyer Burnett said so, but I mean he actually worked on Star Trek. He was part of Berman's era. I mean he wasn't a big wig, but he was connected.
That just doesn't mean anything though.
I mean like
Kathleen Kennedy worked for Lucas for how many years?
I mean right? but Berman worked for Roddenberry, and Rick Berman, who was in charge of TNG, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise, all the way up to 2005, from 87 to 2005, like Mr. Berman, as much as people, give him a lot of shit, I mean, he tried his best to maintain consistency. He tried his best to maintain, what Roddenberry wanted from Star Trek. I mean, because Mr. Roddenberry, you might love him or hate him, but he created the series in the first place. So, I mean, if you want a true film from the creator, I mean, it's the motion picture. It's not the best film. I mean, I told Pips, I gave Pips my Star Trek Blu-rays. When I visited him. I mean, I needed to provide tribute because he let me, he let me stay at his house. In his house, I was a complete fucking stranger for 2 days. So I had to provide an offering. So in that case, it was the Blu-rays of the good Star Trek movies.
I did have my way with him sexually repeatedly. So
we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. It's between it's a private matter, and I don't know what you mean, Pips. Like it's honestly, I literally the moment I stepped into Pips's house, I requested bread and salt. Remember that.
I never gave it to him.
He never gave it to me. So as far as I'm concerned, like he could have I could not be. I'm thankful to be here right now, talking to you guys right now. I mean, just the fact that I'm talking to you guys right now is a big fucking deal.
Yeah, he survived a lot. You guys,
he could have went total Macbeth. I mean, like if he was Macbeth and I was King Duncan, if you've ever read Macbeth, Shakespeare's Macbeth, I mean, I'm assuming the chat's smart enough to know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say anymore.
We have a very sophisticated chat.
Yeah, we got Trip and Shy and Nas and.
I mean, other than Shy, not so much. Everybody else, though, very sophisticated. Shy's working on sort of like the Harry Potter novels and stuff like that. He's working. I didn't think we were going to talk about Harry Potter, but do you guys have any hope for Harry Potter? We're going real politics now. Okay, all right.
Well, I mean, we're not going to talk about J.K. Rowling's politics. I'm just saying. I'm just talking about like
you
what
brought it
could
up.
possibly. I'm just talking about what could possibly materialize from this new series. That who's going to be? Is it? And it's not. Who did they? Do we know who's going to be HBO, right? Because Warner Brothers and
HBO. They're going to produce it over 10 years. It'll be a 7-year series, 1 year per one season per year. It's going to just go into. It's going to follow the books more closely, supposedly.
Yeah, and
we'll see what the cast hiring is.
And don't hire. And don't hire those ungrateful actors who, if it wasn't for a certain creator, they wouldn't have a career at all. I mean, like honestly, like fuck them,
dude. I think that's one of the things that Rowling has been hilarious in what she's made statements about. Like people were like, "Oh, this is costing lives. What are you doing this for?" And she responded like, "To all those critics out there." Hating on me, and I'm paraphrasing, but she just said, don't worry about me. I will be fine. I've taken defense behind this stack of champagne bottles."
Honestly, I think that she needs to be like a little more aggressive. Like it would be really funny if she just had like a Daily Wire mug of like liberal tears.
Yes.
Just like went like just stupid on it. But she's not going to. I mean, she's a progressive. She just disagrees with them on one single issue. She is a full progressive, but there's one issue that she's not on board with, and that's it. If you are 99.9% on board with the platform, you are an apostate and you must be killed. Hey, more power.
But she can make good with all of it as long as she hires Elton John as Dumbledore.
Oh wow!
But hey, more power to her. I respect the hustle for making a TV show about a movie series that you already made. That's like about a decade old for the last movie in the series. So like not even a super long time ago. So I respect the shit out of the hustle for Yeah, I know. Like last year, the movie came out, but let's just do it all over again. Like I could use a fucking 15th yacht.
When
like,
when did the last movie
hey,
come
go
out?
for it.
2011? Was it
Something like
2011 or
that.
2012? I mean, yeah, you're right. It's been like a decade, and like
It's not that long in the terms of like cinematic adaptation world, right? So like, hey, I respect the shit out of it. Her, WB is trying to salvage something after
I mean,
telling
like,
themselves on
let's just be
on a
honest.
street corner like a common horror.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's be honest. Those Incredible Beast movies, they suck. They suck. I saw the first one, and it's awful. And then the second one, the second one just like
say no more. It's not good. It's not good. I don't know anyone who's seen the third one. Honestly,
I think she directly wrote the screenplays for them. So like, and they were going to make 5 movies. So
she didn't make the screenplays. No, not
yeah, she did. She wrote them.
No
she
way.
wrote them herself. Yeah, she did. So I mean, it was based off of a textbook, like a fictional textbook, the Incredible Beasts and Where to Find Them. And
that's like a little children's book. It's like 25 pages long.
Yeah, and then they're trying, and then I think the sequel, the second one, or the third one is trying. Yeah. They're trying to connect to Harry Potter by having Dumbledore in it more, and it's just like, stop already with that.
Well, they canceled that series.
Did they? Like they made 3 movies. I think they were going to make. They originally were going to make 5. So.
Yeah. Quick Google says you're right. It looks like she wrote the screenplays for those. So man, that is real terrible. I'm assuming.
I'm not always wrong, Pips. I mean, I know you're really smart. You're a smart dude, and I know you're very you have a lot of insight on a lot of things, but sometimes I'm right.
Hey, and I give credit where credit's due. I'm saying like, hey, you were right, and I was wrong. I'm assuming though that this is probably like one of those writer's credits where like she probably contributed. I would be pretty suspicious if the argument was that she basically wrote this thing completely herself. But who knows? The chat can maybe back that up. I would be pretty surprised by that. I could see her having a writing credit on the screenplays. Like that makes sense to me. But man, if she wrote it all herself, that's pretty embarrassing. They were not good. But I don't know. In terms of the movie or the TV show, Nate, are you at all excited about these? Like I read the books as a kid, and like I enjoyed the books. They were fun kind of fantasy books, especially for a kid, right? Reading it elementary school, junior high. Like I think into high school was when the last book came out that I was reading. I think if the timeline is correct.
Well, I mean, I read the first books a few times. The last book came out in 2007. So
yeah, so that would have been I would have been in high school, and so like I kind of feel like I grew up with the characters a little bit and stuff like that. And there's some nice stuff about that, and it's a fun world. But to be honest, if I'm talking about low fantasy wizarding worlds, like
low fantasy because it takes place in our world. Is better. I mean, doesn't low fantasy generally take place in our world?
Yes,
or is it just the lack of magical elements that makes it low fantasy?
No, so okay, so this is these are debatable distinctions, but generally speaking, low fantasy is set in the real world. High fantasy is a totally separate made-up world.
The alternate world, example, as Mr. Christopher Tolkien always put it,
the secondary world. There you go.
Secondary world.
For example, right? So there's a conversation we had. The Wheel of Time, for example, is that low fantasy or is that high fantasy?
I would say that's high fantasy because it takes place in a totally different world.
Does it though?
Yeah.
Does it though?
Yeah, it does.
Does it though?
Ranland doesn't exist, so it's in a different world.
Does it though?
Yeah.
You might have to
unless
you might have to read and find out. You might have to read and find out.
So what was? Dude, don't tell me Ranland's supposed to be United States. Come on.
Hey, the wheel of time. There are no beginnings nor endings in the
The
turning.
wheel. How they put in the books? The
Ages
wheel
come and
weaves
go.
as the wheel go. The wheel weaves as the wheel goes, or something.
Yeah, the wheel weaves as the wheel goes. You know, the alliteration. That's how you'd want to set it up.
Oh, come on, Pips. Seriously, don't. No.
I'll put it this
Well,
way. I'll
No.
put it this way. Do you remember from reading Eye of the World when Tom Maryland is talking about some of the oldest stories that he knows, and he talks about the giants Mosk and Merk that fought with lances of fire. He talked about shoot, was it Nate, help me out. The one who went to the moon. The guy who traveled to the moon. I'm trying to remember which name he used.
I couldn't tell you.
There's a go reread Tom Maryland in Emmons Field talking about some of the oldest stories that he knows, and tell me whether or not you think that those. There you go. Gadfly Fiction has it. Thank you very much. I'm too drunk to taste this chicken. Not really, but I'll take your help on this. Len traveling to the moon in the belly of an iron bird of fire. There you go. Perhaps a Glen, a Glen that over the history of time went to a Len. Perhaps something like that.
Oh boy.
Brian's just
kidding.
the sound
Right?
of shattering glass.
You're kidding me, right? Like literally.
Hey,
like
the wheel turns and ages come and pass.
Yeah, the wheel weaves as the wheel wills. I get it.
So
I think I'm gonna
Yeah. So to answer your question from earlier, Pips, I will say in terms of the Harry Potter show, I would be cautiously optimistic, but a lot of it depends. My excitement depends on their casting, because I'm pretty sure that she will probably stay pretty faithful to the books, because she
the books as she wrote them, or the books as she later talked about them on Twitter.
That's the other thing. That's it's there will be things in there that will change just because we know who she is.
It's like this British wizarding school in the 90s is pretty interesting.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I would not be shocked in any way to see a Black Hermione. Or 100%. More,
I would be shocked if there wasn't one.
Right.
Not
or
that there's anything wrong with
overtly gay Dumbledore.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. That according to Rowling, that's the case. Him and Grindelwald were like. And
that's the thing. Like
they were space docking like Len. Traveling to the moon in the belly of an iron bird.
So having just read the books again, it was interesting. Like, I hear people talk about how the relationship between him and Grindelwald was very heavily hinted at in the last book, and I read through all of that, and I'm sitting there thinking, nope.
100% not.
It was all Grindelwald showed up. It was a striking friendship that grew out of that, an intellectual thing. There wasn't anything about either one pumping and dumping. It was straight, literally straight.
Yeah, I mean, like it was literally said after the fact. I remember reading the book and then hearing about this on the news, the fucking news, 2007, the fucking news, hearing her saying, "Oh, the character was supposed to be, the word that rhymes with day, or bay, or say."
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, and I heard this. I mean, I'm in my last couple of years of college, and I just completely cringe. I'm like, seriously, why are you going there? Like, just this is. I mean, kids read this book. I mean, it's not just an adult book. Like, this is something that's for all ages. So why include something like that? I mean, maybe I'm old fashioned, but like, including those type of issues is more of an adult thing. It's something that would belong in.
So in my mind, I think that it's a little bit of fan capture, right? So she is politically who she is, and she, fans were bothering her about a thing, and so she was like, sure, yeah, yeah. So there's a little bit of that. I think there's a little bit of, maybe some cognitive dissonance where she, kind of tricked herself into thinking that it was a thing. But, I haven't made this. I'm not the person who came up with this connection, but I think it's the right quote for the concept, which is the C.S. Lewis quote, which is, those who cannot conceive of friendship as a substantive love, but only as a disguise or elaboration of eros, betray the fact that they have never had a friend. So people who look at close friendships in literature and ship those characters that try and turn it into a sexual relationship because of anything, either straight or otherwise. When you see a story that doesn't on the page have anything physically intimate, and when you try and say, well, they were good friends, so clearly they were, boinking, right? That is an indication of you, not an indication of the character. That's an indication of the fact that you have not had friends, because I don't know how to say it any more clear than that. I think C.S. Lewis is spot on, as he is in so many things. He's a great.
What's that from? What's that from?
I think that was an interview, wasn't it?
I'm not. Yeah, I think that might just be a statement. I don't think he wrote that in anything.
Well,
so he literally addressed this type of shit.
Yes.
Interesting. Yep. I have to.
C.S. Lewis. Some of his writings are he actually wrote a lot about relationships, specifically love, marriage, friendship. So the different types of love. He did write extensively about those, and has some really, really great statements on all of the different types of friendship and romantic love.
There's eros, which is romantic love. There's platonic love, and I forget what the third one is. I remember learning about three of them.
Yeah.
There's 4 Greek words for love.
Agape is the French one that most people kind of think of, I believe. But his kind of comments on those, the commentary on those different relationships, I think are. I think Tripp brought this up. Philo, I guess maybe, is just kind of brotherly love between people, right? So the general concepts of these different types of relationships, and he has some very good philosophical answers, some very good kind of religiously and spiritually rooted answers to these questions. Which, interestingly, when it comes to human nature, you get a lot of religiously rooted answers. It's almost like man is sort of a spiritual animal. But Nate, I think you probably have some better and kind of deeper thoughts on that topic than I will. But
well, it's all very spiritual in nature. The only one that you don't find in like the New Testament is eros, but it's definitely how the world defines love. It's not a spiritual discernment. The agape is sacrificial with no expectation of return. Philos is the brotherly one to another love and respect. And I can't remember what Gadfly Storge. I can't remember what that's defined as, but he'll probably pop it in the chat here in a few. But
Gadfly is the source of good knowledge on a lot of types of things.
Philos, eros, and agape.
Yep.
What's storage? I have to look that up.
Yeah, his comments earlier, though, he said Gadfly's comments earlier, though, it's all there if you deliberately are choosing to interpret it as being there. If you aren't looking for it and deliberately and interpreting it specifically, then there is nothing. And I guarantee you that is how Rowling wrote the part.
Storage is basically like the love of a parent towards offspring and vice versa. That's what I looked up. That's why I'm reading right now on Google.
And So Gadfly actually
Familial love
it's
is what it is.
He puts it as fondness, equates to Aristotelian kind of utilitarian friendship, which is an interesting difference to what you're talking about. But Nate, what you're saying, I'm actually going to disagree. I would put a pretty substantial marker on the bet that J.K. Rowling did not write Dumbledore to be gay for the first several books. Even if you want to say that in the later books when she tweeted, "Oh, Dumbledore's gay,"
well, we don't learn about Grindelwald
she
until
didn't say
book
that until
7.
after
We don't know. Grindelwald doesn't exist until book 7. Grindelwald doesn't exist, so none of that stuff was even a thing in the first 6 books.
Sure, but there's always the idea that like the author has a backstory for this characters, and like you may or may not see all of those facets of them, but like it's canon because it exists in the mind of the author, whether or not it makes it to the page. And there are some people who will say that she always meant him as that. She just never explicitly stated it, and then she came back on Twitter and said, "Yeah, that's how I meant it." As far
as I'm concerned, the authors always change their minds about shit. So even if they say stuff like you hear, I mean, I'm going to bring up a certain author who will never finish his book series. Like they always say they change their minds, and I actually believe that. I believe that they change their minds. And that what they say and what they do are totally different things.
Yeah. Patrick Rothfuss is a bundle of sticks, but
and I might be not remembering this correctly, but it seems to me that it was a more pointed question to Rowling after the books were out regarding Dumbledore's sexuality. And then
I don't know.
And so it was kind of a leading question kind of thing. And she's like, "Oh, well, hey, that could win me points with the crowd." So
I'm not going to say that it was nakedly political or anything like that. I'm going to say that around the time that she gave that question, and maybe even the last few books, when we introduced to Grindelwald, stuff like that, she might have actually had that concept in her mind, right? But I think that I don't think that was a part of Dumbledore's character for the first several books, right? I think that it was a late addition to the character, if it was even an addition while she was writing the books, if not a sort of after the fact addition to the character. And from that perspective, I think that any reader who reads the series and is like, "No, Dumbledore is not gay. That's ridiculous." I think they're perfectly well founded in the series. And to the point that, people on the other side of the aisle of this always want to bring up the death of the author whenever they talk about adaptations and how they want to just take an absolute shit on the source material and flip everything around. And they say, "Oh, the death of the author, it's our turn to make this story, more modern and whatever," right? Well, hey, the death of the author cuts both ways. Dumbledore was not homosexual at all in the story, right?
No, and there's no evidence of that.
Yeah, at the very least, whether he was or not, it was never in the story, and it was, and even if you want to imply or insert that into the story, it was 100% inconsequential to every facet of the story, and
that's a good point.
That's the biggest objection that I had when she made that comment. It's like, it was nothing whether or not he loved anybody at all. It was the fact that he was, ran the whole the whole conspiracy.
I mean, the only love that we see from Dumbledore is probably agape, or maybe philo love towards Harry, right? Like that's his thing. And so I will say that the weird thing in my mind, and the reason that I push back on this, I don't have any problem with gay representation in stories, however you want to do it.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I legitimately don't care. If you have a gay character and they're a good character, then they're a good character. That's full stop. That's where I stop caring. The thing that is weird in my mind is that the only character to which Dumbledore shows substantial affection in the story is Harry. And so when they say that Dumbledore is gay, it makes a very strange connotation about his relationship with Harry.
Yeah, it makes him sound like a fucking creep.
Weird.
Like
it
ultimately.
It makes it seem like all of the kind of worst
it was just
connotations and sort of intimations about the gay community, about like it's not. It makes it sound like you're not saying Dumbledore's gay. It makes it sound like you're saying Dumbledore is a pedophile.
Right.
And
did the Wizarding World have a NAMLA chapter?
Yeah, it's just a skeevy sort of feeling, and it's like why insert sexuality to a character whose only close relationship is to a child? Like it's just gross. It's just gross, and there's no reason to do it.
To further that point is when you look at the relationships that were in there, whether it be Ron and Hermione or Ron and whoever the chick that he dated before that, or Harry and Cho or Harry and Jenny, was any of that sexual in any way?
No.
And the answer is no. It was all of this. It was all of this puppy love type, typical high school stuff that you get involved in. That
not so typical for high school these days, but yeah.
I got that. Looking back at my high school days, never mind. Well, but it's very youthful, and there was in your first endeavor into that is very innocent.
Yeah.
And so to sit there and take one facet of the story after it's written and shit.
Get that off. Come on, wait.
I was gonna say Expelliarmus.
Expelliarmus.
Oh boy.
Oh shit. But to sit there and turn any facet of the story into a sexual nature really does a disservice to the entire story as a whole, and it cheapens it. And
I'm just like, why even say that? Like we know your politics, and this was 16 years ago now. I mean, we know your politics. Why go for why make your fans cringe? Because that's exactly how I reacted when I heard that. This was after I read the book, after I read the final book. It's just like, why? And then with everything that's been going on last decade, it's just gotten worse. Everybody's been kind of following that path. Everybody's been saying, oh, we have to make this character, we have to include the sexuality of this character. We have to include the sexuality of that character. We have to make everything cringe. Why can't, I mean, whatever happened to innocence? Like Harry Potter was made for kids. I mean, I was a kid in the 90s. Yeah. Like I was a kid. I mean, the character Harry Potter is older than me. Like, he was born in 1983. I was born in 1984. So what the fuck? I mean, why the fuck are you even doing this? Like seriously, sorry. Yeah. I'm fighting nausea right now while not wanting to trying not to drink anymore. So it's just.
I will say I think that there were better characters for adding that representation if you wanted to. For example, I think characters that you could have added that in a believable way that would not have had the weird connotation in terms of the relationships. I think Sirius Black, you could have said he was a single bachelor, he didn't have any kids. Well, okay, I'm not going to go there. Sirius Black, you could have maybe said Hagrid. You could have maybe there are plenty of major characters in the series that you could have added that to that would not have had the weird relationship between Harry and Dumbledore. I think the weird relationship between Harry and Dumbledore is the thing that's weird about it. In that connotation, and so that's the thing that rubbed me the wrong way about it. I think there were other better characters if you just wanted to add the representation. I think that was a mistake. But going back to the TV series, that is what we started this about, right? Am I at all excited about the TV series? I would say no. I think, and the reason I'm going to say that, I think the movies actually did a good job. I think in general, the movies are as good as the source material, right? Like the books are a lot of fun, but the books are not amazing. Lady Balefire brought this up before. Like her writing leaves a lot to be desired. Like they're,
I don't know. I like the writing. I like the depth that went into especially the books, especially the third and fourth books that they kind of cut out in the movies.
Sure.
I mean, there was a lot of good depth that was included. That I think that could be included.
I'm not saying there's
they
not
made
more to
the
be.
series.
I'm not saying that there's not more.
The movie after the first two movies, I wasn't quite as impressed with.
Maybe so.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
After that. I mean, they tried, but
I'm just saying that the books were just kind of, they were fun kids books. They were kids fantasy books, and the movies are fun kids fantasy movies, right? They don't ask a lot of the audience. They're not particularly deep or amazing or interesting, but they're fun. I think they were
deep enough. I think
they're deep enough. I still can go through and watch the movies and still have an enjoyable time with them. And I know people who are huge fans of the series.
From them.
Sure.
So they're fun books. There is no way that they are going to hold up to the likes of Robert Jordan, Tolkien, any of the better writers today or of yesteryear. You can't. There's no comparison in terms of writing quality, in terms of depth of writing, in terms of what it presents. There's no argument. As for the movies,
she was a C, maybe a B level writer telling an A level story, right? Like the Harry Potter story is a great story. It's a great story. It's a lot of fun.
And what's his name is even to this day is very salty about not winning the Hugo Award against her because he wrote A Storm of Swords in 2000. And 2000 was when Goblet of Fire came out. A certain author who will not finish his 7-book series. I'm not talking about Patrick Rothfuss. I'm talking about an old
series is overrated anyway. It's
you know what's funny is they've been talking about I was just watching a video about Talking Thrones. He's talking about how they're working on a Dunkin' Egg series now. So I don't know if Nathan, I don't know if you've watched Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon, but they're making a Dunkin' Egg series. Dunkin' Egg is a short story series.
Night of the
takes place in the same world as Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire in Westeros, and they're adapting that, and it's going forward. So House of the Dragon was successful enough. Now they're making Dunkin' Egg, but that's another fucking unfinished series. Like they've made 3 short stories, and they're supposed to be at least 15. Short stories that goes up from Dunk being or Egg being young little Prince Aegon the Sixth or something, Aegon the Unlikely, all the way to the point where he becomes king. He's the younger brother of Maester Aemon on the wall in the Night's Watch. If you've watched Game of Thrones, and what ultimately is he dies in Summerhall. Summerhall is this big castle, or is this palace in a certain part. I think in the south part of there's a fire. But the thing is, nobody knows the circumstances behind it. What happened? Where did this fire start? Nobody knows. And then if you've read the first Fire and Blood history or the World of Ice and Fire, the Maester or George has it set to where the Maester spills ink on the details that leads to what happened in Summerhall. But the thing is, it looks like the way it's going, it looks like that the fucking House of the Dragon series is gonna spoil this bullshit. Because they already spoiled the fact that they don't control the dragons, that they don't. I forget what else the House of Dragon, but House of Dragon had revealed certain things that was unknown to book readers.
I'm going to say I think that it was not made explicit because Although I do think that Lady B is correct. I think that is the prevailing theory.
The
I'm not sure
fires-
I'm not sure that that's fully canon
That
versus
is
a very
that
well
is the
supported
belief.
theory.
That is the
I think
that's the rumor
very
within
well
the
supported
rumor
theory.
within the
Yeah.
story that
Yeah.
Aegon or
Yep.
Egg was trying to hatch some dragon
Yes.
eggs because he was suspecting another war was coming on with another house or something. I don't even I forgot the details. It's been a while since I've read Song of Ice and Fire, so I mean,
Yeah.
I like that series because of just the fact that there's so many stories within stories. There's so much emotional stakes with the characters, and I'll be honest, the grimdark aspect just kind of spoiled my read of Robert Jordan in the first place. I've already told you guys above. That's kind of why I kind of stopped reading after Eye of the World.
My big complaint with Martin is that on those types of things, whenever you get to the mystery in Martin's stories, I'm firmly convinced that it's a mystery to the reader because Martin has no idea. Like
mystery box.
Not know.
So once again, the mystery box type of
I think
approach.
that Martin, the mysteries that Martin leaves are just mystery boxes for him to try and fill in later. And I think the reason he will never fill in his series, or he'll never finish his series, is because he wrote himself a mystery box that now he doesn't know how to answer. And
that's why it's taken him over a decade to write Wins a Winner, book 6.
Yep. He maybe thought that he had an idea on how to string it all together and how to answer it, and that was probably the plot of the show. He probably told the show, "This is the direction I'm thinking of," and then everybody hated it, and now he's like, "Well, that's not what I was gonna write. Like I was gonna write this other totally different thing." But he's just spinning his wheels. He has no idea how to take all of these plates that he's tossed up in the air and catch them all and set them back down on the table. He's got no idea. And so that's my complaint with him, is that he started a good story with no idea how to finish it, and he doesn't respect his fans enough to be honest about the situation. And an honest author would be like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I was writing this story and I just don't know where I want to go with it yet from here. And so I'm going to work on some side projects. And if I figure out how I want to bring these, I have some ideas for some of the plot lines, but there's a few major plot lines that I'm not satisfied with what I've come up with yet. And I think it deserves better. And I think that I'm going to keep trying to mull those over and come up with what I want. And, just be honest with the fans. Instead, he's been saying it's 6 months away from publication for freaking 10 years.
Yeah.
That's a person who doesn't respect his audience.
Yeah.
That's why him and Patrick Rothfuss can both suck it. Yeah. That's all
I agree. You'd be surprised how forgiving fans are. I mean, look at Picard season 3 for starters. Seasons 1 and 2 were complete shit. I didn't even watch season 2 because season 1 was just that fucking bad. But people came back for season 3. I mean, my take, your take, Pips, Nathan. I don't even know how much. Did you even watch Picard? I know you watched some of it.
I watched the last 8 episodes with you guys.
Okay, and I'm assuming you feel the same way that we do. I mean,
it was some of the worst TV that's happened this year.
And what's funny is we're in the minority on this. So people, heck, I read an article today saying, "Oh, those pesky negative YouTubers came back and enjoyed season 3." I cringe reading that, but that's what seems to be the case. And so it's funny how what was my fucking point? But you would be like, the whole idea of fans being forgiving. Like, if you would just come out and say, like Pips was saying, if you would just come out, George, if you would just come out and say you were having a hard time with it, you would be surprised how much fans would probably understand. We would probably be in a position to encourage you, to wish you goodwill, and we would understand if because you're human, you're not perfect. So we get that you're human, and we get that there are points there. I mean, writing is not an easy thing. I mean, I'm not a writer myself, but writing takes a lot of thought. It takes a lot of I mean, it takes a lot of thought and it takes a lot of work to you have to really think of every situation. I mean, look at Hollywood writers. I mean, you don't even have to be half as talented, and you just go into it. And heck, all you got to do is gaslight the audience into thinking, into convincing them it's good. You know, it doesn't work on me though, unless it's Better Call Saul, like Pip says.
The audience, the chat apparently wants you to make a poll. I'm not really sure what they want you to make a poll on. They just said make the poll, and like other like make polls
on what?
They're just interested in your poll. So if you could just give the chat your poll.
All right, I'm gonna make a poll then,
and just see. Just give them a poll that just says yes and no. Just poll, no question, just yes or no, and just see what they come out
all
on.
the above.
Okay,
yes,
I'm going to ask
yes,
this
no,
question:
Are
fans forgiving? Are fans forgiving if creators were honest? If creators were honest about what they do?
There you go.
And then I'm going to ask the community right there. There's not enough people, so I'm assuming there's going to be a few people. So, all right. So I got so far 0 votes. So screw you guys. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
I love you guys.
I'll give you a vote. There you go. Now you got a vote from me.
And
What did you vote? What did you vote? Did you vote no?
Excuse me. I'm not going to tell you that.
You're not going to tell me why not? Why not? I mean, I enjoyed
because I'm sorry.
I got you.
I thought this was America.
Fuck yeah, America.
I'm just waiting for polls to close down temporarily so that we can get the mail-in vote in here.
Oh, that's true. Right. Yeah. Did you send out the mail-in vote? You have to send out a mail-in vote.
So it says 80%.
Guys, can you guys imagine
yes,
Brian running an election here without mail-in ballots, guys? Come on.
I don't know what you mean.
It's like
once again the views of the Pips does not necessarily represent the views of the panel or the chat. I'm just saying, you know.
It's like it's 2018. I mean, like this is. I think voter suppression is what we're getting.
Okay, all right. So once again, the views of the Pips does not represent the views of the panel or the chat.
Dead people voting.
My mom voted Democrat. I said voter suppression. You're gonna let dead people voting go away without a disclaimer? You're gonna know the views of the panel. Okay, so Brian's on board with the dead people
Pips, voting. I'm almost dead certain my mom voted Democrat for the first time last year.
I'm so sorry to hear that, Nathan. I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, I mean, she wasn't alive, so that was the only way she was.
Well, that's not what I was talking about, but still, I'm sorry.
I was going to say I'm sorry to hear your mother's a Democrat. I mean, that must have been really hard to take.
Hey, I'm the asshole from Chicago here. You should guys should be making
guys, I'm independent, you know. So leave me alone. Get off my back.
Pips is a what? Pips is independent? No way. Yeah, I know he is. He told me.
The only way to fly.
Yeah, I actually had a conversation.
Let's be real. We live in a one-party system,
especially with all the jokes made about a certain president. I won't say who. I was surprised, but you know what? That's good.
Trip is trying to say some slanders over here. I'll have you know, Trip. I do write-in candidates. I don't even vote third party. I write in candidates. I'm just like, you know what? This dude over here, he doesn't even know he's running. If me and about 75 to 80 million other people, he's going to be real surprised.
Pips is not a fan of politicians, and I actually agree with him on that. So, it's just you gotta lay off the Pips. You know, it's just.
I think we need to do a big.
She's giving the game away
to get Trip voted in as president.
Trip, absolutely not.
It would be like remember that Halloween Simpsons episode where Kang and Kodos take over the election. So like they kidnap Clinton and Dole. This is 1996. They kidnap them and they take their places amongst the populace, and they're like, and then Homer reveals that they're actually the aliens, but they're like, sorry, you're stuck now. It's a two-party system. It's a two-party system, and then I think they vote for one, and Homer's like, they're all humans are being enslaved with whips and all that, and Homer's like, don't blame me, I voted for Kodos. Don't.
Yep.
That's one thinking. I don't know why I'm thinking that right now. The drunken me.
Nate,
how long
we've been going for over 3 hours here. Nate's got his daughter's birthday party tomorrow. I feel like he's probably got to go.
I have lunch. I got like a lunch to do and all that. And you got anything going on, Pips?
We were going to do a Lord of the Rings book club tomorrow, but with Nate having his daughter's birthday party and Alex traveling on the road, I think we're going to skip that.
Oh no!
We'll do it next weekend. I think we might, if I can figure out a way to do it. I think I'll send some. I think I will stream in the Discord. We might do the South Park Lord of the Rings sort of special. As a sort of fun kind of Lord of the Rings movie to show in the Discord and just hang out with people. So that might be tomorrow.
I'll be streaming that from my phone at my kid's party.
Yep. There was the Lord of the Rings South Park episode. Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember there was the George R. R. Martin one, but then there was also the Fantasyland one.
No. The South Park Lord of the Rings special. It's a good one. But then Alex is maybe. I'll say maybe because he's been saying he's going to release this parent video for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. He says maybe Sunday. So I'm going to continue to pester and bother him, and hopefully we'll drop a video by like Wednesday. And then we'll see you guys next Saturday. Not this Saturday, next Saturday. So yeah, we're doing stuff. We're I hope
it didn't cause this. I feel like I'm responsible now for you canceling Lord of the Rings. No. I don't know why I feel guilty now. I just do.
You are guilty for I believe hosting a certain stream on Sunday that hopefully, time permitting, I might be able to be a part of. So I'm looking forward to that. But that's pretty much all we got planned for this weekend.
The Dragon Reborn is going to be Sunday at the usual time, 7 Central, because all of time in the universe revolves around Central Standard Time. Just because it does. And what was I saying? Oh yeah. So we're going to be covering the prologue, and we're going to be covering the first 15 chapters. So I'm only 10 chapters. I'm the prologue and 10 chapters into Dragon Reborn. So that's what we're going to be talking about Sunday night. And I can't wait to talk about something good for a change, because I've been talking 10 weeks in a row about Picard. And,
I can't wait to talk about the Fortress of the Light.
Fortress of the Light in the city of Tyr, I believe. Isn't that? And that's what the original book artwork is supposed to be, right? You're in the fortress, and then there's the sword that's kind of floating in the air and everything. I don't know what that is.
That's Elias.
The wolf brother, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. I thought Elias looked different. I have it right there. So
no, that's one rendition of him.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm curious when he. Okay. I'm curious when the hell he comes back into the story, because he wasn't in the Great Hunt at all. Spoiler alert. I'm curious when we're gonna see him again.
He also wasn't in the he wasn't in the Great Hunt. I mean, minor spoiler, he's not in the Dragon Reborn. Yet he's in season 2 of the Wheel of Time show. the Wheel of Prime.
Wait a
So
minute. Who said that? Who said season 2?
sorry, maybe season 3. I don't know. We can't know at this point.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to reading this some more. More death.
Yes.
Excuse me. I'm feeling it right now. I'm feeling it. So,
Well, I don't know. It's your stream, Brian. I mean, we're just gonna stay on here until you decide. To Oh man.
when does the final issues come out for the
like a
July.
month and a half or so? Like, yeah, it's July.
It's July.
So I guess 2 months. 2 months, yeah.
Oh, I can't remember the exact date. It's mid July.
Okay.
Yep, the last 2 ones, and I'm assuming they'll probably re-release a new spring at some point.
So the thing is they I think they originally were supposed to release the second batch of Eye of the World stuff in May, but because Pips went and asked them to release them, they literally released it on his birthday. So
yeah, so they originally
we have to wish Pips a happy birthday. A few days ago.
Happy
but
birthday!
I got a birthday present for Pips's birthday. So
Max didn't
nice.
even show up to wish me happy birthday. That's disappointing. She was in the Marilyn Monroe.
Mags is very busy. And I could have done it, but it would have been cringe, and you probably your ears would have bled as a result. So I'm just saying, I mean, it could have been.
I can turn these off. I just hit this little switch over here.
That too. That too. I mean, yeah, that's true too. So, but Dragon Reborn is going to be Sunday. And is there anything else you guys want to plug? I know.
Nope.
No. So, did you guys have a good time, or you guys have a good time? I didn't. I'm kind of happy that we spent more time talking about Harry Potter than we talked about fucking Picard.
That's not true.
Picard's just the same in general.
That's not true at all.
Did we? Did we?
Like they literally like I can't even. They literally ruined the shapeshifters from DS9. And like just the whole idea of they had 8 episodes, and then they completely changed it. It feels like it's almost totally unrelated. And the biggest issue, and I've been saying this all over Twitter to everyone that I could respond to, and just because I wanted to see if I can create my own narrative because I'm just that much of an asshole. Things happened in Picard season 3 because the script demanded it to be so. There's nothing organic about it, and I'm sure Terry Metalis is listening to the stream right now. He's like, "Fuck you, Drunkporeal. Fuck you. I made a great show. Fuck you." Well, sorry, I'm being honest, and I'm a big Trek fan. Like I've been into Trek ever since 1996. So ever since I was a kid. So I mean, I'm watching this series. I just feel like I'm being insulted, and anyone that's watched early Trek and have been encouraged to think about the issues and all that, and you're watching these shows and you're just like who is this made for? And you're surprised how so many adults that grew up on early Trek and became entered their formative years with like TNG, DS9, all that, are just eating this shit up like it's like the best thing in the world, and like it's not. I mean, to me it feels like New Trek is very ashamed of its past, and so they're trying to be more like Star Wars, and I just don't understand that. And I know a lot of people wanted to see more action in Star Trek, but Star Trek was never that type of story. I mean, especially in TNG. So, I mean, early like TOS Trek, I mean, you had some action, but even then, it didn't end with the bad guy dying. It usually ended with something a little bit deeper than that. maybe there was another side to the equation that we didn't see. Like, for instance, the Horda, or for instance, Let That Be Your Last Battlefield, where they didn't even take sides. With the race, the people that were black on one side and white on the other side. It's just that type of deal. It's like, seriously, like, maybe treat your audience fucking better, and maybe give them better fucking stories, make them think again. But then again, I'm not expecting this at all from anything. And even if Thierry Matalis makes that Star Trek Legacy series, which is what so many people are looking forward to, I have no fucking reason to think that they're gonna go back to form. I have no reason to think that. As far as I'm concerned, they're gonna do another mystery box type of story, and it's gonna woo fans in because mystery. Who are these characters? Remember these characters? Who are those characters? Or who is this person? Who is this villain supposed to be? And you know what that leads to? Nothing. It leads to something stupid. And that's what. And season 3 was no different. Like, who is Vanek? Who are those bird-looking, lackeys that were trying to kill Beverly Crusher in the beginning of the series? Well, no, they were shapeshifters all along. Well, then why'd they have a firefight? I don't know. Because they didn't want the audience to know that they were shapeshifters. That's the only fucking reason. Like, shapeshifters don't have to fucking have a firefight. All they have to do is turn to mush, travel along the floor like Ivan Ooze from Power Rangers the movie, materialize behind their victim, and then just strangle them with tentacles. I mean, it was DS9 established that shit already. Why hide? Why make a mystery of who they are? If you're going to make shapeshifters, tell the audience that they're shapeshifters in the first place. And Star Trek has never been that type of mystery. Like, just the story could be a mystery, but don't make the characters a mystery. Maybe respect your audience a little bit more. And sorry, hey, that's Tarvalon. I know, because I'm on that chapter right now. I'm on that very chapter right now. That's Tarvalon.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm literally on chapter 11 right now, and I saw that very map in the in my read. So
it's a pretty damn good book. We'll get this far.
I was told that the Shadow Rising is what really opens up the series and really gives it a lot of gives it even more depth.
It really broadens the scope. These ones are kind of more self-contained stories, and Shadow Rising just kind of says, okay, now we're going to go.
I noticed, like, Shadow Rising is a much longer book. Like, there's like way more pages. There's way more content in that than the first 3 books.
Yeah, Great Hunt and The Dragon Reborn are the shortest books of the series. Are
they shorter than even Eye of the World? I guess they are shorter than Eye of the World.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good stuff, though.
All right,
you'll enjoy
this.
this.
All of us are yawning. So
it's midnight here. I know it's by you, and I just feel like an asshole because I've had too much to drink, and I'm gonna probably pass out in a moment. So, you guys already plugged your channels, right?
Yep, we're good.
All right. So, any final thoughts on anything?
Bourbon's good.
Why my
good. I think that's the summary.
Why bourbon's good? Why my taste in television stinks? Because Pips completely destroyed my Better Call Saul experience completely.
Right.
Probably thinks
bourbon's good.
Better than Better Call Saul. So
I mean, like, only just like a little bit better though. So like,
bullshit. But hey, like everybody's entitled to their opinion. 5%. Even the horse of all trades himself, and he is the horse of all trades. Why does everybody call me Drunkporeal? That doesn't exist. Roman. You're at the FNT meetup. Do better. I love you. You're awesome.
Yeah, I'm jealous about those FNT meetups. Those look like they're a good time. But
I went to one a few years ago. It was
well, yeah, but
it was a fun. It was
you're
fun.
kind of like a big timer. I mean, you got like a couple thousand subs, kind of like Nate and I,
Not,
we're
not,
just we're just little league. We're just playing t-ball,
Yeah.
not back then. Yeah, this is
I don't have time
2021.
for it.
I was only like 700. I was only at like 700 subs at the time. So I was still.
Brian's over there like going to Vegas, meeting Friday Night Tights people, doing all the stuff. He's
I
networking.
met.
He's got
I met.
thousands of subs.
Well, the thousands of subs didn't come from streaming. It actually came from me working on original content. So, and that's why I've been meaning to do. So that's why my my Metroid retrospective is my next one that I'm doing. Then I do want to do a Picard video itself, and there's just so much to cover, and there's so much that people are not saying about the series that I think needs to be said. It's just. It's just like Prey, the Predator, it's just like that movie Prey. Like there's a good story in it. It was just horribly executed. The story direction that they decided to go with, and the same with Picard season 3 is just completely mind-boggling. Like why would you do that? Like honestly. So, no, it's not 6 minutes, Pips. Sorry, I'm rambling. I'm rambling. So, all right. So everybody. All right. So I'm gonna shut up now, and I'm gonna say everybody, thank you for being here. It's been 3.5 hours. Pips wants to go to bed. Nathan wants to go to bed. I'm completely fucked up right now. I need to do something with myself. I don't know what that is.
Drunkporeal exists.
Drunkporeal does exist.
No, it does. No. I
Fuck
know what you mean.
Fucked up Poreal.
Fucked up Poreal.
I don't know what that means. That doesn't mean anything. So but once again, what was I saying? Oh, I was saying thank you. I was saying thank you, and
I'm just gonna hit this red button. I'm just gonna.
All right. So Pips was my first officer this time. So if anybody's highlighted comments, it was all Pips. It wasn't me. And Nathan, I want to thank you for doing this last minute. Like, so I know you've been drinking quite a bit of whiskey. I know we had several conversations. We had an awesome conversation in person. I actually got to meet both of these gentlemen in person, and unfortunately, I'm the shortest one of the three of us right now, and it's true. But hey, that's life. So, other than that, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was saying, fuck off, everybody. I love you guys. Fuck off, anyways. Like they say in Succession. And remember, stay Drunkporeal, and have a good night, everybody, and stay safe. And if you drank with us, and you're not at home, once again, safety is important, and make sure you have a buddy with you. So I'm at home, so I can just crash. I can just pass out. So
that's true. Have a spotter.
Yeah. So everybody, there's going to be a closing, and then there's going to be the outro. So everybody, Scott Poreal 7 foot tall. Yeah. So Nathan and Pips are they are monsters. So everybody, have a great night.
Walk in the light.
Take care.
We did it, you and me. Put him right under the table.